and it should be starting here with Puppypaw and Vortix in a best-of-7 in the semi-finals in a matchup that is all about spilling blood. It's the Deli in the hands of Vortix and Jean in the hands of Puppypaw.
Yeah, so much of this match is going to be, can John like accomplish her tasks, right? And can Deli accomplish its tasks, right? Both players kind of have like map control-y elements that basically start in the feudal age. Deli will be a little bit later to needing to be on the map, but they're going to want to be on the map to prevent John from doing her stuff. So I think we're going to see early units out here, maybe Ghazi here from Vortex to open things off. I feel like that makes the most sense, right? Because you can counter the knights, potentially. Not counter them, but like combat the knights a bit better. I feel like if you open Spear Archer here as Vortex, you give up a bit too much tempo. You want to be able to contest, the boar, sniping from Jean and stuff like that, right? I feel like that's probably going to be the way it goes, right?
I think that the thing I like about this matchup, you hit it there, like sniping the boar, right? But Deli don't really want to go after the boar for their own reasons. It's more about the denial. I think something that's really exciting about this matchup is that both sides have things to plow onto the map for, right? For Jean,
Yeah.
it's the Gaia units, it's hoarding that XP. For the Deli, it's playing around the sacred sites. And the cool thing is both of them yield something out of that. Like if you hold on the sacred sites, go for Vortex. If you force fights on the sacred sites because he has to defend them, that's XP for Jean. So this matchup in
Exactly.
particular really feels like a race.
Yeah, and if it turns into just a bludgeoning match in feudal age and players are just battling it out and Delhi does kind of its maybe an older style, but it was when they would kind of all in feudal and just sit on it and just like try and hold for the timer. I don't know, or just get enough gold to like have a huge advantage, right? Um, if that happens, I'm not exactly super familiar with this matchup in the sense that like does Jean just outscale? Like how quickly, like if you're fighting nonstop, like does Jean just hit tier 3 like instantly? like
Are we
like how
getting a
fast?
speed run to level 4? Is that, is that what
Yeah,
you're suggesting?
exactly. Like does she like if you just have to hold these sacred sites if you're Vortex, or is there now a condition where because the combat is double detrimental, like if you lose a fight, it's obviously bad,
Yeah.
but if you lose a fight to Jeanne d'Arc, it's even worse, right?
Well,
So is
that's a
this a
nice thing.
situation where maybe you kind of sacrifice one or two of the sacred sites and you just try to hold them without fighting as much? Like that's definitely an element of the strategy here that I feel like has to be considered.
So something that I think's nice about that is the idea that this is a Civ that has healing early on in the game. I think, like, when I saw Ottomans getting picked by the Lux Marine Lord to just completely counter Jean, I don't know if you remember that game, literally just didn't come out of his base. Jean couldn't do anything because of one tower. I thought the plan in that game was get imams and come out and heal and play around that, but he stayed in base. I think for the Deli, they have to come out, so that healing could be useful. And this is already check number one for me, was it going to be TOV, or was it going to be potentially a Dome of Faith build? Because if you do go Dome of Faith, you would have had a lot more healing, which means technically you might not ever use up troops, which means there's no XP going across to Jean. I think that's an interesting angle we might still see come into play here, especially if Vortex is going to lean like 80% into Ghazi.
I think TOV just makes so much sense against Jean though, because like almost every Jean game is Knight Archer, right? Like there's very little variation from that, at least so far in the tournament. So if you know that's coming, having better spearmen and having better archers is just like such a clear W, right? So I think Vortex opening with probably the safer bet here. I think, yeah, yeah.
It definitely, like, it gives you the flexibility. I think is the difference, right? If you go Dome of Faith, you're definitely only playing really into Ghazi because you're relying on that heal. That also then puts the pressure on you to do more in the early game, I guess. Whereas TOV, because you got that perma scaling into attack speed, maybe you try to play for a late phase of the game. Someone to keep in mind is if this does turn into like a drawback, neither player plays long feudal and they both go castle age, which I think is a way we've seen Jean play before. We do start to see an interesting deviation compared to the normal French. Something that's been quite funny to watch is how basically Jean's Civ in castle age just take the horses away from the knights. It's usually men at arms spam. So excited to see if that will come into fruition here. But we have just reached up into the age, and we haven't talked about the generation
Whoa.
yet. This is a very balanced Dry Arabia spawn. Sacred sites spread very wide, so it might be difficult for Vortex to hold multiples.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, it might be a balanced spawn, but something happened here. I think Puppy screwed up scouting or got super unlucky, man.
Oh,
He's
wait,
got
what?
2 sheep left, and if we look at Vortex, Vortex has all of them. Yo, this puts Jeanne d'Arc on a huge back foot. She's gonna have to go to these hunts, and they're pretty exposed. The one on the right might be where you put a TC, but that's pretty far. In the front, maybe that's if you have army control, maybe this like map control that works. But the boar are in the north and the south corner, like really far from both players. Oh man, Puppy has to go out. He's on berries. He's on berries
Wait,
at 5 minutes
yeah,
because he's out of sheep.
but also Jean is still level 1. Okay, there we go. Finally, she pumps up into level 2 and gets chased. And he's like, give me those sheep, damn it. I need something right now. And he's getting nothing because you mentioned he has to go forward on the deer. You mentioned the sacred sites are balanced spawn-wise, but what's not balanced is look at what Vortex got behind his base. Both the deer stacks are over there, right? He's got the summoning of Bambi in the back of his base. So Puppypaw is going to have to find damage. He's going to have to keep Vortex contained because I get this feeling that if at any stage Vortex is able to break out these Ghazi Raiders, he's able to condense his economy and protect it a lot easier than Puppypaw can, which is likely to put Jean on the defense.
Yeah, and these one night raids, they kind of start falling apart a bit when you have like 8 Ghazis, right? Like you can just kind of start getting that surround and it's really strong and experience still goes to Jean there. But yeah, like Jean, maybe in a bit of trouble. I think she should be okay though. She probably still has heal, right?
Yeah,
heal gets popped.
It's also a case of I think you need at least one more cav unit to body block Jean there and pinch her entirely. It is scary though, by the way, because we have to remember these are not horsemen, these are Ghazi Raiders, which means they have more health, more damage. They even get bonus damage against heavy units, which of course Jean in the Woman at Arms form does count as.
Yeah, we'll see, but here's those Ghazi, and this knight's a little low. Probably gonna have to retreat this, and gonna take quite some damage actually on this retreat. Jean's coming to reinforce.
It's kind of worse than that as well, because you said he already used the Divine Restoration, right? Like, if we check on Jean, if that's on cooldown, then this damage is going to last a very long time. Okay, there we go.
It starts on cooldown, right? So it actually hasn't been used yet. It was, I misspoke earlier. It was the passive healing that ticked. I thought she was getting attacked, but she wasn't.
Got you.
My bad. Yeah.
And it looks like they are shifting north side, and they're moving villages. This seems really risky from Puppypaw, but I actually appreciate that he's doing this. And the beneficial thing he's got is you can see this boar is parked right up next to the wood line. So it's going to sound weird, but maybe this is a game where the French variantive walls themselves in on that boar because they are up against a lot of cavalry here.
Yeah, the Jean pick, we'll see how it goes once Sanctity comes in. It looks like it just finished, right? So Sacred Site's going to start getting capped, and that's going to be like forcing the engagement here. Like Jean might be strong, on the ladder and stuff, but I feel like this situation isn't ideal here for Puppy. Gold under pressure again. Vil gonna go down.
And you saying the situation is not ideal, and that's like an understatement, right? That's like walking in a room and everyone's been killed. You're like, well, this is less than ideal. Yeah, it's a lot of knights, but the problem is it's Ghazi, right? So you might get the lance in their back, but you can never stop them. And one other issue I'm seeing here is because Puppypaw had to play eco north like this, naturally Vortix should easily be able to secure at least 2 sacred sites here, the central and the southern one.
If the Ghazi get a surround on Jean, she also takes a lot of damage because she's also heavy. So it's it's a lot of despair. It's so painful to look at this, but what else does he do? Like he doesn't have any choices. I think that's like the biggest thing that makes this like feel bad. I think like army count and stuff is still kind of okay, but I think it's gonna start suffering a bit here as the gold starts trickling in. Puppy's on a very inefficient resource comparatively.
Oh man, and it's getting worse than that, right? Because Puppypaw is limited on food, they're going to have to go much harder into racks plus archery range units, and like this starts to just snowball because what you've just done there is it means that Vortex can now just move away from cavalry into spear archer, where he has better versions because they have attack speed. This is getting really scary. Like that military lead already matters a lot. The eco lead doesn't seem like it's much, but when you then add in the sacred sites as well and the fact that Puppypaw has such limited safe resources, this game is getting scary fast.
Good reaction there from Puppy. That could have been disaster. Yeah, it's crazy. Even with this much army, he's not able to take the deer in the front of his base as the Ghazi come into the berries, smelling blood, and it looks like Puppy just completely missed that with his units. Does retreat in time.
Still, it's the idle time, right? That's a little difference that's adding up on each side because, look, he tried to prevent the capture on the north side sacred site, but right now this is just Vortex peeling the cavalry and then building a proper army to take the main fight later, right? Spears and archers are never getting harassed or killed while this is happening, and it's still now going to be an increase in eco, and I wouldn't be surprised if Vortex soon just ends up dropping down a marketplace once this second sacred site is secure and starts pumping more food.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is usually in this situation, this is very French style of playing, right? I mean, obviously you have Jean d'Arc here, but this is like very classic French gameplay, right? It's the 1-1-1. I'm pretty sure it's 1-1-1 right now, build by production buildings, and usually French is really, really happy with the situation because they're accruing a villager lead. But Jean d'Arc doesn't have that faster TC, obviously, right? A lot of people know that now. It's not like brand new stuff, but like in this situation, it feels pretty important. Like Vortex has actually gotten a villager lead. I think maybe Textiles was clicked by Puppypaw, or maybe
We
he
can
even
check
idled his
that.
TC because the food. So something definitely, yeah,
Oh,
not even
wow.
Textiles. So he's just down 2 vills now.
Oh,
That's
he
pretty
lost one,
painful.
right? Yeah, so he lost one to that little raid, and
Idled,
then there's one
idled.
unaccounted for. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's tough. If we check on the other side, I wonder if Vortex did get Textiles. I imagine
that's.
not. Like, okay, he did. So it is actually a true
Oh
two. Like
no.
this. I mean, that's tough as well because that read by Vortex to go Textiles makes it hard for these 1 or 2 pinched knights to go and find kills. Like, it just takes so long. And this attempt
Oh.
to secure the deer is going to be a big fat fail. And this game might be close to over already. That is not a good
Oh.
defense force from Puppypaw. It's a surround. Even
His
on
army's
spears, the
idle.
guards, you just need to hold him. Second wave comes in, and Puppypaw way too split here. Half of
His
his
army was
army isn't
idle.
even defending.
His army was idle in the north. And
Wait,
he even
why?
pulled off the unit that was on the sacred site. That was a select all military pull.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's so
God.
painful. Yeah, I think he thought it was coming back, but it stopped. Then he does split off the spearman to go, okay, yeah, that's, oh man.
I mean, it's hard to see a way now, right? Like, this was already an uphill battle because Vortex opens with the Ghazi. Like, the John is very limited and handicapped in what she can do in the first place. Like, if it was Spear Archer, at least, maybe with the sheep deficit, he could find a way out into the deers. He could maybe out micro, but this is tough now. I mean, all sacred sites are locked in. That's a lot of extra eco coming in. That's extra losses in the meantime for Puppypaw, and I'm really not seeing how he's meant to get back into this game, right? Like, you have to come out for anything you want in this game, and that means you're running into Vortex's army.
Yeah, even chivalry coming in just to make sure his knights are topped off for the next fight. He needs every last bit of resource, probably because he doesn't have any food, so he can't train
No, wait,
knights, right? It's the
Winston,
best thing he could be clicking.
it's fine. He got 14 XP. It's Jean. She always wins. Wait, no.
No.
No,
This is a way too big of an army, right? Like, the whole assumption here was that they'd be on equal footing at this stage of the game, and then Jean would be benefiting from the constant trading. This hasn't been constant trading, this has been constant death, right? Like, Puppypaw hasn't really had a good fight yet. He's only killed 220 resources of units. That's 2 horsemen. Right now, that number's obviously going up, but he's losing his whole army. The heal comes in. Too little, too late, though. John's gonna go down.
This
The
looks
army
like
is
GG,
gone.
right?
The hunt is under pressure.
There we
GG.
go. Okay, very quick start to this series. A grim opening, but hopefully not an omen of how it will all go. An absolute domination by the Deli to open this series for Vortex. And, you know, I think the first thing we have to talk about here, Winston, is that the sheep pretty much made this an abnormal game to begin with. This is not a fair indication of how these two civs match up on average.
I mean, maybe. Definitely, right? There's no doubt, right? Like, it's hard to analyze anything about this game when the sheep distribution is that skewed. When you're on berries at 5 minutes because you're out of sheep, like, something went horribly wrong with the scouting pattern. In fact, I don't even want to think about that because that's so sad. Like, that's like tremendously sad, right? He got like 5 sheep this game. That's
Yeah.
like that's enough to age up. Like, you need, like, you're without your your TC idling. Like, you know what I mean?
But
Like,
be honest,
that's
did you
troubling.
like so the other day I was talking about how like sheep distribution can kind of screw things up a bit, and I wonder if there's like long term a better solution than the RNG of the sheepness, right? But I remember like when I was streaming, I called back to like a game. I think it was not a year ago, 2 years ago maybe, where it was I think it was Wham versus Dimu in an HRE mirror, and Dimu got like 3 sheep, and then at 5 minutes called GG. Right. And I actually thought that was going to happen here. Like, I want to give props to Puppypaw for trying to find a way out of the
Yeah.
hole, maybe find the Jean power there. But that is the difference we're talking about there. When you have so little sheep, it is not uncommon. Like, if that was Vortex, right? We've seen in Vortex Listfron games where that type of thing happens and they'll just GG straight away because they know there's
No.
no way out of the hole. So, how
Yeah.
do you fix that, Winston? Don't rely on sheep. Get some fish.
Get some berries. Yeah. Oh, go to Four Lakes. Yeah, I see. Yeah, no, yeah, that's tough. That's just tough for Puppy. But yeah, looking forward. Japanese Rus. Interesting. So Japan becoming one of the better hybrid civs in the game, if not maybe arguably the best. I think some are saying it's up there with that discount. It's really insane how effective that fishing boat discount is for the civ, right?
Yeah. It's
It's actually crazy that you'd
it's not
even
just
pick
the
anything for
discount
Rus.
though, right? Like I
Oh,
think the
of
other
course,
insane
there's a
part.
lot going for them. Yeah.
Yeah, the other insane part is the ability to disable other people's docks. I think
Right,
Rus
yeah, the
has
shinobi.
been tutored as the solution for that, though, right? Because the Shinobi are really annoying play, but the cool thing the Rus have that other civs don't is they can convert their existing boats to defend themselves.
Hmm. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is one of those maps where you don't really attack on the water too much. Like it's weird. Like the docks can be like torch and attack, and like you said, the shinobi. Like, how do you protect the dock from a shinobi? On a lot of the maps, like Baltic, for example, the dock is kind of naturally protected by the TC in a closer way. Or like, there's a lot of maps where the water's pretty close and you just dock instantly. On these ones, the docks can be a bit further away. Maybe if you're Roos here, you dock in the back corner and you like try and wall them in or something, because then like you don't need the dock to be near the fish as Roos, right? So you could just like keep the dock super safe. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
does that make
that
any sense?
it's yeah. So with the Rus, I mean, typically, like by the time you can try to do some shenanigans with the Shinobis, the fishing boat's already out anyway, so it does just isn't relevant. But your whole point is because you don't even need them to return, put them right up against the edge, so it's not even easy to reach, which I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Vortix goes for that. I think for the first one, he doesn't give a damn, just ram it on in there, spam out the fishing boats, but let's spam out the games. A quick opening to this series. We move to game two, Vortix getting an early lead, but now Puppypaw coming in with the new kid on the block, the Japanese, to see who is the king of Four Lakes.
Yeah, and here we have it. So yeah, Vortex gonna be placing. Can we check out that dock placement actually for Vortex? I think that's the one that we really want to see. How far is this from the TC?
It's not too bad.
Ah,
It's-
that.
wait, hear me out. He's going to drop the Kremlin on the stone. Don't ask me why, he's just going to do it.
I mean, that's double hunt, but you don't need the food on
No,
Four
you
Lakes.
want it
Yeah.
on the wood, right? Yeah. So,
But what I was
the
saying is,
point,
like, what if you built the dock, like, way to the left corner here, like, against the edge of the map?
yeah,
Yeah,
corner
like,
camping.
there.
Yeah.
Like, you just built it there, then you, like, palisade it in or something. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's so much harder for the Shinobi to, like, wrap around and be annoying. Because here you have to protect a much wider arc on the front of your base. It's just a weird, like, little strategy thing. I wonder if that would happen, but I bet this matchup hasn't happened enough on this map for people to,
I
like,
think
start
it's
thinking about something. I mean, it probably isn't even relevant, right? Oh, the
no,
shinobi could just go over the wall. What am I talking
yeah,
about?
that,
Why am
you
I?
need to build more walls, Winston. Come on.
I'm so dumb. I was like, you just jump over. I was like,
I
I
mean, do
was
you not
thinking,
just
like,
A
why
click
don't people do
Shinobi?
that? Like, why don't you just wall in the dock? No, yeah, no wonder.
So the thing is,
That's
like,
jeez,
this is what makes the Rooster
that's
smart
bad.
choice against the Japanese is that you don't need to care, right? It's like by the time Shinobi going to be coming on that first dock, you're going to have enough fishing boats or close to that you're sorted on that lake. And if your
Hmm.
opponent tries to aggro play you, they can't. Like, I think this is one of the things that makes Roost super oppressive, actually, on this map in particular, is if you consider the location of each of those deep water fish, it puts them in scouting range of any proxy dock play, which means they can see you, instantly convert their boat, and then they've countered you, right? And that's why usually the Shinobi play, at least on this map, is targeted at the second lake. Typically, Japanese try to get an edge by being on two fishing ponds versus one, or maybe even sneaking the third one for themselves.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to see how that pans out this game. Or you just don't even. Yeah, it's weird. You probably have to go Shinobi on this map anyways, because like,
Yeah.
what are the farms gonna do for you from the Kura, right? Like, interesting.
It's
Yeah,
you could get more wood, I guess, right? Like if you creatively block
block
it
it
off.
in.
This,
Yeah,
yeah, like you can cram it in a bad location, or there's even like those builds where you drop a bit of palisade and then you can refund them later if you need farm for some reason. But I think it's more a case of the cool thing is like Shinobi can still be good harassers. And the other interesting thing to think about on water hybrid maps is people tend to chop deep in their woodline fast. And something funny Shinobi can do that other units can't. They can shunshin into those tree lines, right? When you chop deep enough, they can just hop over 5 trees and be on the economy.
yeah. That's an interesting thought process. But here you can definitely see the power of the Japanese, right? Like, the fishing boat count is just so high. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's a lot for this timing.
And now I love this from Vortix. Like, notice that he doesn't hang around any longer than need be. 7 villages, you have to get this up ASAP because the issue with the Japanese, if you give them half a minute of extra time, that's 2 shinobi coming your way by the time you tech up. So this gives him the answer. Another cool thought is the idea of gremlins versus shinobi here. Only thing that can be a bit awkward with that is like, unless the gremlins can kill shinobi, they will
just heal up.
regenerate. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, you don't really catch... the gremlins can never do anything significant to them, right? The shinobi can just run away, right?
Yeah, and it's like, I think the movement speed is, so gremlins are 1.5, right? Or close to. Or was it low? I forget. But the shinobi are 1.36, and even if the gremlins are a bit faster, the Shunshin kind of negates that, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're 0.1 faster. Blinks away.
Yeah, that's... There's a lot to discover there. I don't know if it's even going to matter. I feel like this is going to come down to just army control, right?
Definitely.
And what units they choose outside of it. Interesting. Just really trying to block off dock potential there. Doesn't want to get cheesed.
Yep. I like how he's got a house out here as well, which is a super cool read by Puppypaw, because this villager could just stay here and gather fish now from the shoreline. Something else that's pretty interesting actually about Shinobi in this matchup is because Roost typically go night play, especially when they have fishing, Shinobi are super effective against knights, right? If you tank with something else and then you blink on top of them, you have to remember this unit has an absurd amount of melee damage. It's a glass cannon, but it can take down heavily armored units.
Yeah, it can kind of do that sniping job really early. It's really good, especially if you can mix it in with other units, so it's not just getting sniped. But they're not like too expensive to make. So like, yeah, like Shinobi are just generally good. I feel like at this stage, I think people have kind of discovered, it's not like your core army, but mixing them in, having them run around, be annoying, always valuable.
And looks like we are sneaking. So it's gonna go wide here.
Just checking for the docks, right? It's super punishing, right? Like if your Dockville runs into the Shinobi, they're dead, right? So
especially on a water map, because on a water map, there's less likely that someone's going to have wheelbarrow when they're making that proxy dock play, right? So you've got this fast-moving ninja versus this villager with a walking stick.
Yeah, and we found 2 vills here. The Shinobi's rallying right to it.
Uh-oh.
Fast as his little legs can go.
Love the outpost here as well. Knight is going to come in. Puppypaw, is he going... I don't know if this is just to pump Shinobi non-stop or if he's trying to prioritize fast castle. That's a lot of gold workers.
Ooh, takes a big hit for it.
It's baiting him in. I actually like the way he just keeps coming back, just kind of baiting it to take more damage. Meanwhile, Shinobi is going to arrive here, so villagers will run away in time. Vortix without the wheelbarrow, though, so if the Shinshin is used, Puppypaw could easily get 1 villager kill. Unfortunately, he's a bit late. You don't think he gets it if he, like, blinks past and then stabs once and then stabs him again as he comes past?
Maybe, but it was tricky with the timing. Actually, this Shinobi's dead.
It's like, no, you're dead. I got told I'm broken. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm curious, how much is Puppy going to commit to the Shinobi play here? Like, I'm not seeing any value from them raiding, so it's like, how much value are they going to give you in the fight, right? And against all these knights, like, yeah, like you're saying, they can get us around and kill one and pick one off that's retreating or something, but we're about to have 5 knights on the field.
But he has got spears as well. That's the thing. This is the cool interaction. Like, if the spears get the brace and you stun, that's when it's sick what you can do with the Shinobi next, because you just blink on top of your target, right? And they can't even attack. So it's a nice idea. I do agree. I wonder if, like, instead of investing in all these Shinobi, is there a world in which you could have went fast castle? I don't think it's the worst of ideas either, considering that with the current popular floating gate stable build, you can actually flood the map quicker than the Roost are able to do so with knights at this point.
Yeah, and the first Gremlin pop comes in, right? Like, we were talking about this matchup, like this unit matchup earlier, like what do the Gremlins provide here? But I think here it's just going to be soaking some arrow fire, being a distraction, adding some extra DPS, maybe just throwing them against the spears, and this is idling once again the gold mine, right?
Fortifications coming in soon. Spearman, they do actually get one of the knights here, so nicely done with the assistance to the outpost. And looks like the upgrade's going to come in when they're about half HP here, so looks like that distraction did work. A decent number of knights are going down. That's forcing Vortix to reinvest. He actually was floating quite a bit of food and gold for a second there, and now his villages get spotted going on the flank, and these two should be dying with the shinobi in chase.
Gremlin's timeout. The tower gets upgraded. The villagers back to work. The knights on the retreat, and the Vill's getting caught. This was a really good 30 seconds there for Puppypaw, and if he can get this Vil kill, it might look really good for him.
Yeah, with the
wait. He misclicked.
Oh, whoops. Spearman. Oh, they might be able to take one knight down if they were targeting the same one. He still gets the low HP one. In fact, Puppypaw, he almost gets 2 for 1 there. So a good little trade in the end for Vortix, but keep in mind that was off the back foot of losing one of the villagers and making his own aggro play. And now, look at the mini-map. Puppypaw is circling around the base like a shark. This is where the shinobi are at their scariest.
Shinobi. Is that how you say
Shinobi. Shinobi.
Oh, okay. The shinobi.
You making fun of my accent, mate?
No, it's just funny because, like, noob, like in video game slang.
Oh, no. We'll save that for a moment when someone makes a really bad... Ah, that's what we should say. That was a shinobi
Yeah, that was
play.
a shinobi blink, right? Oh, man. Oh, and another knight gonna get potentially taken out. The blink not coming in this time.
That is disgusting. The way he keeps baiting him with those knights. I actually love the micro there from Vortex. And keep in mind, Puppypaw, he still hasn't started his tech up yet.
I liked it until I didn't. Didn't need to do that. But that's okay. It's still good. Yeah, and like you were saying, double pawn now for Japanese. Triple pawned even. So
oh no.
Just coming in with the control.
Wait,
no, that's the Roostock.
Is he going to see it? Yeah, it's the Roostock, but is he going to see it in time? Okay, he spots it. That was good. I thought Puppypaw was going to run all the way south. Now he'll be able to perma-sabotage that dock, which means even though Vortex is ahead on the castle age timing, it should end up being 2 pawns versus 1. So Vortex really needs to prioritize getting these relics, which he should because he did go for the Trinity. Oh, come on. No way.
He didn't sabotage in time. So the galley comes out.
This is looking bad, Winston.
Saved.
This is looking real bad.
Yeah,
well, let's look at the positives. He does have a lot of ninjas.
Yeah, Warrior Monk's going to be grabbing up some relics. Yeah, a lot of ninjas got to be feeling cool, right? Like
that's true. You know what? We need to see an update that lets the ninjas run like Naruto, and then even when I'm in a game like this where it looks really bad, I can at least feel cool.
I mean, the shinobi have to be like one of the coolest units in the game, right? Just aesthetically.
No, well, mechanically, like the utility in these units. Although I'll get baited in again. Dude, Vortex is so good at this, man. Every time, just baiting you into low HP one. Damn right, it's annoying. And
it's annoying to watch. I'm imagining playing against it, right? I'm just like, oh, that's annoying. Like, just let me kill your units, right?
I'm just waiting to hear your keyboard break in the background.
Stop microing. Interesting. All the relics spawned on the north side of this map, right?
Yep. Hello. Puppypaw, get out of here. Shooting.
Oh, he got him.
What?
Oh my.
Winston, we got
my ninja now. Okay, now Vortex has to be feeling really cool, and Puppypaw is one less shinobi cool, right?
Well, now we're discovering rather who the shinobi is and who the shinobi is. That's really what we're getting at here. Villagers.
Yeah, like look at this.
Oh, far away.
This is crazy. Now he can go dismantle his opponent's docks and stuff. That's like a really cool. I've never seen a shinobi converted. That's so funny.
I've never seen a shinobi converted while he's blinking. That's the more interesting part to me. All this proves is that it's not any form of sorcery. It's clearly smoke and mirrors. He hadn't got out of range. He was still running. What the hell is this?
He just kicked his fellow. Like we used to be friends. He's the backstabber, right?
Not
you can't
anymore.
Trust the ninjas, right? Like they're gonna come in. Oh, he's gonna lose this if he's just running him in. Oh,
well, technically it's Puppypaw's unit to lose, right? So
yeah,
just
I would have loved it if Vortex was like, all right, I'm gonna play ninjas now, and he just had this one shinobi just dismantling docks, like being annoying. He kept it alive like the entire game. That would have been awesome, but probably a little bit too much overhead. We're 12 minutes into this game. The economies have really scaled up, and Vortex now with a very comparable like Knight Archer play here. matching out the Japanese play. Some bannermen coming in for the infantry.
Where did we get the Yoshiro? Because it doesn't look like a stable play right now. I mean, maybe it was just on a delay that he only just pumped them in. Okay, so it was Iraq's play. Iraq's plus stable. So looks like we are going to see him escalating into the knight count. Now, interesting details, he went into the samurai here, which are pretty tanky against those knights. And also with the Udachi upgrade, they just mince through any range units they meet. It's kind of crazy, actually. Like, I was bumping the numbers, and when you get all the upgrades and the Udachi as well, it's funny how samurai can do similar damage to crossbows as to what crossbows, the counter, do to them.
Yeah, the samurai, the damage, they have so many ways of scaling their damage, right? And you just have to keep track of all of them as the opponent to make sure you're not taking a horrible fight. And another Wololo comes out. That's not gonna pan out there for Vortix. Getting a little too cheeky maybe, but he's got a lot of units here. The gold mine's idled.
Is it me, or is this outpost kind of feels like it's just baiting at this stage? Like, this is the second time the Vortex has dove onto it and lost a lot of army for it, but the second wave is more than good enough to clean up the north side. And Puppypaw, I mean, he spent a lot of his troops chasing for that relic. Imagine if they were here defending instead.
Yeah, he's got to bring everyone home, but he will get the cleanup, I think, once that comes home. If he doesn't, he's going to be in a really tough spot. But the bannerman leading the charge is going to go down. The banner's on the ground, though, so these spearmen are very, very scary still.
It's so many archers.
Here comes the rest of the army, but that's a lot of spearmen and shinobi as the reinforcements, and the archer's just going to pick that army apart. There's no samurai left, right?
There's like one or two in there. You can see the red shirts, right? They're charging for. I think there's 5, maybe 6 in total. But the problem right there is you just lost half your mass. The spearmen are now gone, which means the knights can recommit to the fight. And if you turn around, it's just going to be more dead shinobi and more dead samurai. So Puppypaw rushing the last of the gold. He has moved onto the northern side gold behind his base here. But now that's obvious to Vortex. He'll see this expiration and understand that with a samurai comp like this, Puppypaw has only got a limited runway to make this game turn.
Yeah, but there's a lot of knights now there for Puppypaw as well, and those units are quite strong. Their armor gets traded away by the archers, leaving the knights to retreat, and I think Vortex is just kind of baiting him here, maybe, but taking a bit of a time here to charge him with the knights.
Yeah, kind of surprised.
Samurai. He actually has to retreat. He's just a full-on retreat.
Yeah, it looks like he's buying time for the crossbows. And keep in mind, the second wave wasn't here. So now, expect him to turn for the fight. That's a lot more knights and not many spears. And with the crossbows now here, this is where it starts to get a bit dicey for Puppypaw. Count is similar for the time being, but as you dent through that front line of samurai, Mad Samurai, the back line is going to flop dead. So good fight from Vortex. He maintains control on the mid-map. And where the hell is Puppypaw's relics? Like, I swear he's had +1 for like 2 minutes now.
It's sitting in his base. It died. Or he dropped it. He has 2.
Wait, no, he's on the right. He's
got 2 just like chilling. He doesn't have the mental capacity to to drop those on. I know how it feels. Sometimes the relics just have to come second, right? Like the micro is too important in this game, right? Like you have to be on top of things, and
I call it the Vortex effect, man. Like, he does this to players.
Yeah.
You've seen what he was doing earlier with Knights. Like, if you're not fully concentrated on the fights, he will punish you. So it looks like the 2 relics did get banged. That's important because Puppypaw was drained on gold heavily, and that back gold is going to drain much faster because of that extra demand there. So we are going to see a rescale, forced off the gold in the meantime, going once again into the mounted samurai, but this time into many more spears. Correct read, considering Vortex has shifted heavily into crossbows.
Yeah, it's really tricky though here for Puppy. It's one of those things where like it doesn't feel like any unit you make is gonna have like a field day, right? It's every unit has something that's gonna be problematic for it from Vortex's side here. His army is very well rounded.
It's definitely a tough one. I mean, the issue right now is like even if he doesn't have any archers here, like, there's massive amount of spears. Crossbows aren't that bad at dealing with it, right? So you start to feel like you have to make a move soon. I mean, Puppypaw, he does have a little bit of extra eco buffer with Yoroshiro's if he was to drop them in eco buildings, but it's all military here, right? So what you see is really what you get in terms of raw eco and raw eco count on the relics of sacred sites. Charge in. That eco count's about to get worse for Puppypaw. Nice find there by Vortex moving into the wood line. A counter assault coming in, but the gremlins have been summoned, so Vortex should be able to shift away most of the villagers. A few are going to flop dead. More or less even exchange, but Vortex still coming out 4 ahead. Yeah,
but this is a lot of units getting on top of the crossbow mass, and it's going to go down this time unless the knights come in and sacrifice themselves a bit more for this. It's really tricky. Here comes the sack right into the spear line.
The crossbows really need to exchange with these Mount Samurai. The big problem is when you retreat like this, remember that the crossbows are slower than archers, so you are retreating slower, and the crossbows tend to take priority getting to the back of the formation like you're seeing, so even worse than it at first is apparent. Well, with so many spearmen here and a lack of ranged units, Vortix all of a sudden heavily discounted when it comes to fighting capacity.
He didn't mean to engage there. He didn't.
Oh,
he
boy.
was just idle. Oh, boy.
Eco line, it's going to be exposed. Vortix, I think he made a mistake jumping that heavily into crossbows because you saw it, right? Like he completely stopped producing archers and switched crossbows entirely instead of keeping 50-50. So learns this lesson, goes back for more archers now, but Puppypaw finally gets some breathing room and he's used it well. He's built those walls on the south side. He's still mining the northern side gold, but it now means he's got another 4K afterwards. So not as much pressure to come out on the map quickly for him anymore.
Yeah, and he's also able to do the sacred sites as well with the map control he has, and going to be grabbing the gold mine again, or another raid on the gold mine. I don't know why I said grabbing, but it felt right. Dang.
He's going to grab those villages and
Vortex is also going to grab the berry and the gold mine here. It's going to
say they belong to me. Get off my resources. Charge in here. No textiles, so villagers likely to die quick. Mount Samurai are at least reacting to this, but the eco's starting to add up. You can see it now, 83 to 69. Puppypaw beginning to fall behind. He needs to find some big hit raids and start to force Vortex to remain the defensive. But the wall coming in, it's not quick enough. Most of the samurai get through.
Yeah, but that's a big loss there for Puppy, who needs to get value out of these raids. He can't just sack units trying to raid. He'll just lose the game if he does that much more. Population-wise, though, looking good for Puppy. His army's back up to 60. That's got to be scary. This mass is huge here. That is a lot of units.
Now, he is giving time over to Vortex to rebuild an army, which is a little bit dangerous on 4 lakes against Rus. Something I'd love to see from Puppypaw is if he can find his way into a Mangonel. A Mangonel play here would be super sick, considering Vortex is so spooked that 2/3 of his army are now ranged.
I mean, Puppy has just as many knights as Vortex.
And well, that makes but that makes a Mango play better, right? Because now you have units to body block the knights from wrapping, which means Vortex hasn't got a counter to siege.
Plenty of bannermen as well. Has the Cav bannermen, the Uma, and 2 infantry. So this whole army being buffed up here. Even still has a shinobi somewhere in the mix, just hanging out.
He's like, maybe Vortex wants this one.
He's really trying to get that dock up on the south corner. I don't think it's going to work. There is a patrolling galleon. Yeah, the village's just going to get yoinked.
Now, this is still only one PC player out of Puppypaw, and, you know, I don't expect him to have to rush to some sort of farm transition because we are talking about 4 lakes here, but, like, you know, I guess there's an argument on whether it's beneficial to eventually set those up once you have the level 3 daimyo, because you do get that 75% increased gathering rate.
Yeah, it's good, but it's a lot of stone to invest, and if you can avoid it because you have fish, you probably want to, right? You don't want to spend all that resource unless you have to, right?
Yeah. I guess it's like, usually, I think players tend to rush it when they're threatened, but in this type of game, I guess, we're past that point where that dive in, you wish you had the Shogunate Castle. It'd be cool to have if it comes to that, but from Puppypaw's position, it's more about how do I now get into his base? I shouldn't be thinking he's going to come into mine.
Puppy still has the army lead, but for how much longer? And how good is this army lead when most of your army is spears? 52 spears.
Yeah. Raid like this? Oh, that's a big grab as well. Vortex a little bit late on the reaction there. So we'll lose the first line of villagers heading out. I think that was 6 going down. A nice chip away at the lead that Vortex has been building up, but still a substantial one for him. Dude, I mean, look at that. You can see it in the army value. Your point you were making, like the spearmen versus like archers here, right? And then you were just talking about crossbows. Men at arms also coming in to answer out against the samurai just to keep them in place. Bannermen are strong, but you start to ask the question, how strong really?
Yeah, and with nearly 30 crossbows, Vortex is going to be nearing that spot where the knights are just going to get like one shot. If the skirmish is like, you know, a jostling for position skirmish, Puppy's not going to be happy. So Puppy in this upcoming fight is going to have to just like ball out and run at Vortex, like no stop. And you can see he's adding the Mangonel in, realizing maybe the weakness of his army. The Mangonel would let him, you know, poke a bit more and not have to full commit. But here he is. There's the raid
Vortex.
going out. His army's idle. He's not watching. Sees the engagement coming in. He's going to have to pull the knights back. He does so now, but so many units taking so much damage right at the start of this engagement. Puppypaw needs to bring these 10 knights back. Meanwhile, taking so much damage in the Mangonel, baiting him in. That's a lot of meat in front.
Now, keep in mind, Puppypaw's got a lot of resources to keep pumping here. He was actually saving for Imperial, so the timing on this was the worst possible for Puppypaw. Vortix charging in the choke points, but the Mangonel there. That's a heavy cluster of troops on the backside, and no easy way for Vortix to reach in and grab it. Now, Mango, I don't even... How do you even dodge it with this many range units? You simply can't, right? So you have to take the engagement as quickly as possible. Nice now charging into the center.
Oh.
Mango finding less valuable hits here, but right now... Puppypaw, he didn't bring back the Mount Samurai. He sent them into the economy. He's going to try and hold with what he's got here back at home.
In Mango we trust, says Puppy. He's kind of banked this whole game on this play working. If his army had fallen here, it would have been much worse, but he's trading up the knights pretty effectively. And the rockets come flying in. The eco gets raided. The gold has been grabbed by Puppypaw once again. Double Mangonel now. The crossbow mass can't stay here. There's simply too much meat in front of it.
Yeah, I actually think Puppypaw holds this. He's got just enough cav left to try and mirror the movements, enough spearmen to keep those last knights off. And keep in mind, every time that Vortex dives in, those rockets are sniping these bad boys down. They get 2 hit by that TC. So knights are gone. It's just range versus mangoes at this point. Spearman wave is coming in, but so far the Mounted Samurai have still not been answered. They are raiding freely through Vortex's base.
Good micro from Vortex throughout that. I would have lost my whole army much faster, but he kept his crossbow mass. No, I mean yeah, but his crossbow mass would have like his crossbow mass stayed alive for a lot longer than it probably should have. With like excellent micro there from dodging the Mangonel shots, really keeping his army active and stuff like that. But he did trade away his whole knight mass, which was the majority of his like value lead, right? And if you look at the army value now, it's really close here. In fact, after this engagement, I'd say Puppypaw is going to have the lead.
And not just that, Puppypaw, remember the early game where Vortex was baiting Puppypaw's spears and killing them with knights? Irony just hit. Vortex just got baited by those mangoes, didn't take them out, lost the remainder of the knights, gets forced back. And you know what was crazy about this game? Some people question, why did Vortex go? Did he need to, Winston? He did, because Puppypaw was about to crack Imperial Age. If that tech up comes out and he gets Nagayari, that fight looks even more one-sided. Something that he can rush because he has got the Yorishiro banked rats. So it was the right read to fight by Vortex. Unfortunately, he had to fight into that choke point. Puppypaw showing you just how powerful this Civ can be on the hold.
Yeah, and we're one step closer to Japan getting to Imp, although it looks like both players are going to have to remax if they don't just want to die to the next engagement. So still, it might be pretty far out, and it looks like the fish income has dropped significantly. Maybe worth checking the pawns. Can we check the food income on all these? Like, both players' food income has gone down by like 800 per minute.
What on earth?
Wait, can you click on some of these fish? Like, are they just like out?
I think they are. Like, judging by what I'm seeing from Vortex, I mean, that's
gassed. Yeah,
that's a lot more fishing boats than we're used to seeing from the Roost. Actually, isn't it usually like 2 or 3 max on each deep water?
Yeah, he's oversaturated that like significantly.
Wow.
But yeah, so they're just going to be like going around in this really inefficient loop. So, oh, he's even microing it. he's aware of this problem.
He's like, guys, just walk the different ones.
What's wrong with my food, guys? And you can see it's probably a pretty similar thing here for Puppy. Yeah, just working on the shorefish and slightly better situation, but it's pretty similar.
More than slightly, insanely better. Like, look at the numbers on this Puppypaw. Honestly, you could just pump more fishing boats. I guess the issue for him is eco inefficiency if he does that, right? But could be an option available if he wants to get that meat shield going again. It might be an opportunity to actually just zerg Vortex. Tough game at the moment. It's going to be a breakthrough attempt by Vortex. Needs to be careful to notice straight away what's coming up behind him. Those long sticks do tend to hurt. Oh no. Oh no, he goes right the corner into them!
In a rare Vortex moment, he doesn't even notice too. Like, he just powered through that. And now the Mangonel denying the key placement in the center. He's got 3 mangoes, but the spearmen are out of position, so the Mangonels have to retreat. The 4th Mangonel there as well. That keep might go up unless
it should. There's spring ults. Yeah, there's 2 spring ults to counter.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
but
2 to
he's
1.
outnumbered
Yeah.
right now. It's 2 versus 1,
Yeah.
right? So if he
didn't see
could
the
wrap
other.
around, the unfortunate detail is Vortex was very smart with that keep placement because he placed it between the outcroppings and the trade post. So he couldn't even try to use his Mad Samurai to backstab it. Instead, he has to backstab the farms. We're here again. At what point does Vortex just try to get a wall up? Because you can tell now that Puppypaw is not going to stop doing this.
Interestingly, though, both 8Ks spawned on the south side. I think Puppy's about to run into some big issues. If he can't push that keep off the middle, now, what's he going to do? I mean, both the Japanese imp landmarks do help generate gold over time, right? You can get free siege, which is generally very gold expensive, like bombards, or the caravan one can just generate gold as well, but like, that keep staying up there means that both 8Ks are firmly in control for Vortex, and how does Puppy deal with that? What does he do without gold?
Yeah, so like you can build Nagayari spears in late game, that's kind of it, right? Like you don't really want to be on Yumi archers in Imp. You can't go for you actually can't go for Samurai or on a Bugisha. It's a fair point that like that gold, if he doesn't find some soon, maybe Japanese trade. I've got a look on my face the broadcast can't see that makes me look uncomfortable because I've yet to see any Japanese players go trade.
I do it in team games, but that's just because like everyone you need trade in team games, right? To spam your gold units, right?
No, I accept that. You're in a team game. That's acceptable. If you said you'd done that in 1v1s, I would have been increasingly more uncomfortable around you. So that's fine.
Fair enough. All right, let's see. Trade coming in, just gonna get spotted out. I think Puppy needs to retreat from this. Doesn't see the spearman quickly enough. Does lose one knight, but not the biggest deal at this stage.
No.
They're maxed out, both players, so imps are going to be coming in next unless someone decides to take an engagement. Vortex not going to be forcing anything. He knows he has both 8Ks. He's comfortable. He's cozy. He's got 3 relics, both of the 8Ks. Why does he need to do anything different, right?
And probably a few hunting cabins, right? Because remember, this is Roos. They do generate gold off of trees.
Yeah, we might need to see Puppypaw delete the buildings that he put the Yorishiro in initially and build some forges in the back of his base. It could be time for that, just to get some extra gold income. Like, if you're really thinking ahead, yeah, Tangashima's got to be really smart here, I think. Get some free siege units out and just push the middle. Not sure what siege units he's going to want here. I don't know if you... I mean, Azutsu, maybe? There's
Azutsu fine. Yeah, because like these are going to be clustered fights. You know you can force cluster fights. And then if you ever reach the keep, it just gets deleted, right? So it looks like it's going to be high armory on the other side from Vortex. So maybe he spams a few mangoes out. I don't think he wants to because there's no range units coming out from Puppypaw. So it kind of limits your value there. The other thing to keep in mind is actually there's nothing to necessarily stop Puppypaw from trying to sneak out on that east side. You mentioned the gold favorably spawned for Vortex, but there is a world in which if you distract Vortex on the left side of this map, you sneak out, Puppypaw has a lot of stone. You could try to drop a keep on that summoned sacred site.
Yeah, Puppy has just enough res for 1 keep. And the Japanese keeps are pretty scary. But, like, what does it do? Yeah, there it is, but...
Here it comes.
This is going to force an engagement. I don't think Vortex is going to want to let that come up unless he just doesn't
I don't think he can stop it. Like, he has to mirror this. The Knights are in again.
What just pushed him off of his gold?
I think did he miss
the
rally?
4K on the right by the pond.
I think did he miss rally?
There's a
Oh, it's the
Springald Tower. I was like, what? Why did he retreat from that? Like, that's his only gold. Oh man.
I mean, the sad part is there wasn't much left to it, but like that makes it even sadder knowing that actually he's gone into Imperial Age and he can't afford many of his tech ups.
He's getting just Elite Samurai, and now he's
Yep, but Vortex can't have that gold, so he's got a little bit of time to work with because the missiles do indeed reach further than the North Koreans. This one's actually able to find a target.
You gotta watch the market for he's just gotta be selling food and wood right now, right? Like, before it bottoms out. Yeah, like this is... Ooh. Yeah. We might be seeing some sales here, because...
We've seen some sales, okay? It's better than Black Friday rates.
Yeah, I think he just sold, actually, to get that 700 gold. Taking a fight, he has more Springolds. No, he doesn't even count.
No. Actually, like, impressively enough, Puppypaw's doing a good job of holding siege edge here.
Yeah, but Vortex has 2 more in queue, and he has Roller Shutter coming in. I don't know if Puppy can afford that. He may have already gotten it, actually. I forget. Can we check these Springles from Puppy? That's an important element here. Like, winning the Siege War is really important. So he does have it. Yeah, he prioritized
Vortix
it.
should have the banded arms, right? Like, Roos get that extra 0.5 tar range. So. Yeah, so he's taking it. So realistically, Vortix should be winning these trades.
The Knights in the back are idle. Some Spearmen going to go find them.
Army's moving in, though. Trying to see what reaction they can get here.
So
and we have now got a bombard, so there we go. Keep is now starting to be breached. Wait, Puppypaw? Oh, no. Oh, it's okay, guys. Nothing to see here. Just coming through. You guys stay on guard. You're doing a good job in this neighborhood. He might just dive that gold, like get the first strikeout and then move by. So we might see some villagers going down there to slow Vortex down a bit. Instead, he just has to run by.
Into play there.
I mean, this rocket is basically outplaying everything.
Maybe here as Puppy. Because I don't think you're going to kill this keep with a bombard against Roos Springles, right? Like, it's... I mean, maybe if you win the Springle War, if you invest a ton. But
I mean, honestly, just get Ozutsu. I know, it seems like I'm just biased because I love that unit, but, like, Ozutsu don't get killed by Springles so easily, right? Another bombard goes down.
So good in this position. Sacred Sight even coming in. One gets neutralized, though. Oh,
the
boy.
thing I'm looking at here is I'm looking for maybe some stone plays. Maybe Puppypaw can still try for that keep drop on the south side. He's actually still got knights down there, by the way. Gold to the south. Yeah. That wall looks like it shouldn't work, by the way. The one on the gold.
Oh, because the
gate, right? It's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, so unfortunate there, but he can just wiggle his way in. Army is now mirroring to block this, however. And Puppypaw
upgrade to elite. I think he knew that he wasn't going to have.
He has no gold.
I think he has to go for horseman now, right? If he wants a ranged a cav mass, but it might just be full infantry spam. It's not too expensive. The samurai, it might be the best play here. But the gold problem. I mean, Vortex is playing this so smart. Why fight? Why engage? He has the clock is in his favor, right? Puppypaw, every minute that goes by is worse for him. He has less upgrades. He has less, just less everything, right?
Oh, yeah. And speaking of upgrades, I'm pretty sure he didn't get enough gold for Oda Tactics, right? Can we check the infantry? Okay, so that's at least something. Wait, no, he hasn't, right? That's just the aura. So no Oda Tactics and Elite Army Tactics is coming in a sec from Vortex. That should probably be the break point. I don't back that right there.
I've been watching the text. I think that's the next tech that Puppy does is the
if you force the fight now, if you're Vortex, right? If you go now, it's not even going to have it, right?
On the infantry here.
Yeah.
Big if.
Oh, actually, wow. Did he's... Okay, yeah, there we go. He missed for a sec, so it will be the correct one. We're going to get Oda Tactics. Oda Tactics, by the way, would give him a way of dealing with the castle. The cool thing about Oda Tactics compared to Elite Army Tactics is you also get your torch damage increased.
Yeah, so lots of ways to deal with the keep, but choosing not to. So interesting how Puppy's just wants to chill. He's just gonna. He's like,
if I can't have gold,
have these.
You can't have them either. Problem is, it's attacking the TC. Problem is, this is not Oda Tactics yet. Problem is, that's a lot of gold still.
He just wants to force a fight.
Wait, is he landmark sniping? I mean, it kind of feels like he's trying to, right?
The Bannerman, it applies to the torch damage, right?
I haven't thoroughly tested that, but in about 40 seconds, he will have 20% more torch damage. That's guaranteed. Flash comes out. This is a bad fight right now for Vortex. He didn't bring enough troops. Remember, those are Samurai Vodachi, the Spearmen. They die very quickly, not to mention the Nagiaru, the extra range. And the second wave now comes in. Oda Tactics hasn't completed yet, so looks like Puppypaw may be jumping the gun. But he continues on in. Wave after wave, everywhere, at once.
Yeah, but when this dies, the replacement costs are really high on the Samurai right now, just because gold is so sparse.
He can afford 13. That's literally it, right? So, like, right now it does say 44, but if the army gets wiped, he can't remax. It'll be mostly spears, and admittedly, those spears are a little bit better than the Roos ones. But you need to have the Bannerman to guarantee that.
Yeah.
So far, though,
he's rebuild the forgers in the back with the
Yoroshiros.
I assume he did at this point to get this income, but 2 relics, right? He's coming in. The Trebs
trying to
are
get the
there, but
backside.
not contributing much to this fight, so the Trebs will just go down really quick, and this might
You say
be
that.
a cleanup for Puppy.
I don't think he reaches the Trebs, but he
That's
should
a
be able to
lot of
clear up the
crossbows.
front line here, which is a big
Yeah.
loss, but temporarily. Look at the military. That's all that matters here. 81 to 45. Puppypaw, it was a good idea. If he had 2,000, 3,000 gold in reserve, this could have worked. But now, he's dry.
3 siege gonna get popped out, 2 bombards. That's what the tickets get spent on, and another wave of samurai just gonna run into the crossbow mass under the keep with all the upgrades. The trebuchet popping away at that keep on the front there. So Puppypaw on a timer here to accomplish something. The Springled mass still 7 Springleds on the field for Vortex, so he's gonna be fine.
We got a traffic jam. He's not even going to get the trade out keep for keep here because he can't get the second bombard in. So Vortex will be the one removing the castle of Puppypaw in the center. And this is where the floodgates can begin to open. It's not like Puppypaw has been upgrading a lot of cannon emplacements here. In fact, if we check those outposts around the keep, I think they all are pretty pitiful, right? Where the castle was for Puppypaw.
He doesn't have any defenses, right?
Yeah,
Like, he's-
literally nothing. It's just a straw man's defense, right? Like, hey, there might be cannons here. Do you want to find out?
He's got that outpost from Feudal Age still, probably, with the fortified upgrade. That's what
Yeah.
he's got.
Well,
It's got arrows.
thank God for that, Winston. He's got that full fight outpost at 39 minutes to defend him. There's no way that Vortex would ever challenge that. I mean, in fairness, Vortex has lost fights twice diving that.
I mean, Puppy's still nearly popped on pure samurai spam,
Yeah.
so something's working for him.
Has he been
Economically.
trading?
I don't know what. I think he has to be like
Not
selling
like
res.
trading, yeah, but selling. I think he
Change.
must be
Check this.
throwing away
20
every...
spick. Yeah, he's selling the future for this, but
Wow, he actually... Was he sell... I think he's been selling stone as well. You saw the value on stone, right?
he has to, right? Like he has no other way to get gold. Oh, man. This is so painful too, and Vortex still how much gold is left for Vortex? Because he has been using his gold kind of efficiently, right?
Yeah. Like, he's basically got about 10k left. He's not really worried. He's even building into Streltsy now for the kill and blow.
Yeah, this is rough. The Streltsy going to be really strong here against the samurai-only composition. This is
Now-
maybe when a horseman switch would have been really good, right? Against this
Yes.
pure range comp, like... There's not a lot of spears. There's a ton of siege in the middle, so like it feels like horseman would do everything you need, but would require quite some investment in stables, and then you got to get the upgrades. It's a lot here for Puppy at this stage, so probably not feeling feasible.
Especially if we check like his production lines, I wonder, like, you know, the amount of stables he'd need to match, because he did have those Yuroshiro dropped Raxes, right? That was helping out a lot. So, yeah,
I think just having like 30 horsemen at a time even would be useful, right? Or 20, like a lower number maybe, just to
You're
get
like
on
that-
top of the
you're
siege.
kind of like that kid that doesn't know how much the present they want costs there.
Yeah,
yeah, just-
I mean,
just 30.
just 5 ponies. We need a whole.
It's
steed.
only $60 for this game. Sorry, wait, that's like 2019 price. It's only $95 for this game. There we go.
I mean,
He's still going for that Abbey of the Trinity.
it's burning now, right? So it's got to force repairs. That's attention, at least, if it's a resource here. Although I think Vortex's attention isn't too split. The Trebs could take it out, actually, right? That was all the pressure. There are no more Trebs on the field. And the gold is shockingly low for Vortex as well.
What is going on here? I mean, I'm more looking at the
It's-
food, actually. The
it's
food is the
Streltsy.
crazy part. Can we check the
Streltsy.
farms?
What
It's not
farms?
just the Streltsy, it's the income. Those farms, that's why. He fully transitioned. Meanwhile, Vortex, like, he's got a handful of them. I actually think, like, Puppypaw is starting to claw this one back.
Yeah, with the relics getting popped on the ground. I mean, he was never dead. The threat of the Trebs never made it forward, and they died. And yeah, like the economy behind this, I think Vortex is thinking that his fishing eco is really good, but keep in mind, all those Roost fishing boats cost 2 pop, right? And they're just sitting down there fishing really inefficiently. Lol.
Oh, you're so smart.
Oh, I'm so clever. Yeah, no, yeah, that's... Look at them. You just... Every time you look at the minimap, you see another
They just
group of,
keep
like...
moving around.
They're just moving around. They're just migrating from herd to herd, from patch to patch.
They're
getting
like,
50
hey.
food, like, instantly, and then they all have to move again. It's
Those fishing boats are like, hey, well, we're blue, the water's blue, maybe the casters won't notice and criticize what we're doing. Yeah, it's looking rough when you compare it to Puppypaw's side, like that nice red split, and the fact he's got farms, those farms which are giving a 75 increased gathering rate. That's the late game economy. That's the difference. And now, those bombards, he didn't even pay for them.
Didn't pay for them, but gets the bombards anyways. And in come the units, the Streltsy, there's just not enough of them. I think Puppy's almost got this. The Japanese late game is so good.
It almost looks like he was about to try and body block with the Springles. I mean, they just have no purpose in this game anymore. 4 mangoes are wheeling up as well, so the Streltsy have nowhere to run. Vortix truly is on the ropes here. You know, you look back at this game, the lack of wolves, the reach around that Puppypaw has had for 43 minutes, and now finally he has the power to dive in. Villagers are going to be thrown to the wolves, but the wolves are hungry for something else. Those spearmen are going looking for clues. This, ladies and gents, is just wave. Well, it's definitely not one, Winston. It's definitely not two. I don't know how many waves we are into the Japanese apocalypse here, but it's never stopping.
Yeah, but this food income now, and it seems whatever he's doing with the gold income has been enough. And do I see Vet Horseman coming in?
I think we do.
I think that's Vet Horseman. I think like Puppypaw. No, Pat self. I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's a lot of production buildings, a lot of stuff coming in. Able to find the resources now. He has 53 spears in the field, and he's just running them in. Also, if you noticed, he used the Tanegashima. Oh my gosh, he has access to gold. Oh no, he doesn't. He had a he used the Tanegashima to
almost.
He used the Tanegashima to create some hand cannons there for that big push.
Yeah.
And like just like 10 of them did a lot of work.
Well, he doesn't need bombards though, right?
Generates, right?
Yeah, because like the thing is, if you think about it, he doesn't really need bombards now that the keeper's gone. So that's just 5 hand cannoneers instead. It's a pretty cool read there. Glad you kind of highlight that one. These guys are no joke, folks. Like, if you click on one of those units and check their torch damage, you'll see what I'm talking about. Oda Tactics is legit. I think it's like the best tech in the late game for the Japanese. 24 torch damage per infantry unit.
Yeah, and here come the spearmen once again, just throwing their bodies into the gold units of Vortex. The hand cannons, though, sorry, the Streltsy going to be able to just slowly kite them down, but just a couple Adachi in there, right? And the Adachi Samurai just gonna slowly pull them apart as well.
I feel like this is just here's the raw. Oh my god, it's not even about the Samurai. It's just the raw spears, the raw power, giving us a series. Puppypaw evens it up in sick fashion here, dethroning the Rus from their map and making sure he gets that second game.
Yeah, 2 things here, right? The first one is congrats to Puppypaw for dealing with that game state that effectively. I think Vortex maybe got a little too comfortable and let Puppypaw get away with some things he shouldn't have, like those wraparounds on the left. Like Vortex maybe needed to apply a bit more pressure. I think he was thinking, oh, I have gold and I have a lot of ways to end the game whenever I want, right? Like just I have the 8Ks. Why do I need to pressure? I think he kind of found out why he needed to apply a little bit more pressure. I thought maybe that was a bit too long, right? Like letting a lot of the long-term gold investments that Japanese get, like a couple forages, right? He mined a lot of stone, which gives you some gold, and then he sold it as well. So because there wasn't pressure to repair the keep early enough, maybe because there wasn't pressure to build a bunch of keeps, because there was no raiding attempts, right, from Vortex on Puppy. For example, the dock in the north, like why didn't at some point he run around and just burn that? That would have cut off half of the food economy for Puppypaw, for example, when he had map control. Like small details like that, you can say, oh, why didn't he do this, that, right? But honestly, like props to Puppy for coming up with a strategy that worked without gold in the imp there. Like I think that transition late castle when he had these knights and he was just running them around the back of his base and he's like, I can't make any more of these. What do I do? And you could just kind of see got all the infantry upgrades and figured it out. Really impressive. And the second thing here, Vortex has been pretty unstoppable, it felt like, coming through the quarterfinals into the first game here. It seems so decisive, right? Mm-hmm. Finally, though, Puppypaw getting a win here. Maybe that makes Vortex think double second guess himself, right? Like, you want to kind of get under his head a little bit, right? Vortex should be looking at that game and thinking, oh, how did I lose that? Maybe, right? And if he was thinking that, that's good for Puppypaw going into game 3 here as the underdog potentially.
I think the really big takeaway from this game, you kind of hit on that Vortex wasn't raiding, but it was also that Vortex decided he didn't want to raid, but he didn't want to wall either. He walled that south side very smart, but that north side is exactly where those raids just kept coming in. You even saw it from the infantry later in the game. You know, it's a tough ask because you can never get that locked in hole with stone walls unless you go for a Spaskai tower, which is like never with the roofs. But I think the issue is if Vortex doesn't want to be the fast pusher, where he's going for these flank attacks, where he's going for this all in, he needs to at least protect his flanks so you can take that slower approach. Can't take anything away from Puppypaw, though. Evens it up in this best of 7, 1-1. Did see some subs coming through, by the way. Shout out to the anonymous gifter. Shout out to everyone who's been subbing to the channel. If you didn't realize, this is the last weekend of action. This is going to be the top tier action you're going to see on the expansion so far. You need to make sure you don't miss a second of it. And I can't promise that unless you're subscribed to the channel, because otherwise, Daddy Twitch might ram some ads down your throat. I wouldn't want you to miss your early Christmas present from EGC, which is the top 4 players in the game, slamming out against each other to see who is going to thrust that trophy into the air and say they are the EGC final champion.
It's going to be a great weekend for EW4. This is awesome. Love these EGC TV events, and this one is obviously it's been amazing so far. So really excited to continue. Right, we got more. We got Gorge coming up. Deli versus Ayubids. Ayubids, the new Civ here, have been quite strong, but have received a small nerf recently with the delay on the age up has been increased by 15 seconds, and also if you're familiar with the Gamba Wing, the Bazaar, the Grand Bazaar has been nerfed as well. So we'll see if that still plays into their favor. We've seen some interesting strategies actually so far. We've seen some FCs, I think. There was a really interesting build that I think it was done by... Was it? B and Beastie had this same matchup, right?
I think so, yeah.
On Arabia, but similar map-ish, right? And I think he did something weird. He did
was it the growth advancement build?
He did reinforcements into FC with the advancement. And that was interesting.
Okay.
Because what we kind of saw was that the Ghazi Raider were enough to deal with, like, in small numbers, were enough to deal with the Desert Raider. And then also, Ghazi Raiders and Feudal are enough to deal with, like, 1 or 2 Camel Lancers, right? We'll see how Vortex plays it. I assume his build is going to be quite different from what we saw from B in the quarterfinals. So we'll see, but it's interesting.
We'll have to see. Yeah, like, so remember, folks, the first thing we're going to be looking at is really critical on this map, Gorge. One of those ones with the tricky sheep predicament. If I'm not mistaken, Ayubids have just shown us how much. Vortex, can we get a sheep confirmation? Oh my. That...
It happens again.
And not only does it happen again, it happens again to the same player.
Yeah, that's rough. That's really rough to see, actually, because, you know, the first game was such a giveaway, right? Like, having Jean and having 4 sheep is just, like, it's awful. Like, you can't play the game. It was GG from minute 1. And here, it looks like it's going to be the same thing, potentially. Deli going to be much better at adapting to that, though, with the berry bonus, but... You know, it's still rough, right? You want sheep as that fallback resource. There might still be some more sheep on the map that Puppy missed, maybe on the north or something. But
maybe midway, there'll be some. We can check their perspective. But the other tough part about this, you have to keep in mind, Winston, is like, although the Deli are meant to be the aggressor, it's much harder to hit with that aggression when the potential defender now has a lot of safe resources, right? And he will have a lot of safe resources because similarly with the Ibis, the Deli, what you do is you go on those berries first. You take the risky resource. Another cool thing about these civs, and a very big difference, it must be said, actually, between Puppypaw and Vortex, check what their scouting patterns were. You saw that Puppypaw done a tight little box here. If you look at Vortex's, he wide swipe. Now, this has become popular, but it is super effective with civs that go berry first, because you don't have to come home quickly to drop off sheep. You won't run out of food, right? Which is why Vortex now has, like, what is that? Is that going to be 14 sheep in total? Oh, no, it's going to be 16.
Yeah, plus whatever maybe he used one. No, it doesn't look like it. He just went.
No, he went straight over.
There might be some in the north, though, and Puppy's going to have the advantage there at grabbing any of them, and it looks like, no. Found one.
I think he had that one from the mid, actually.
My little friend. I mean, every sheep is a friend here for Puppy. He needs what he can get. He can't score in the solo sheep.
Maybe there's like 1 or 2. If we check the sacred site north, like that's the final place there'll be some that will spawn.
Oh, but Vortex is cutting him off. It's a race.
It's a race he loses. Like
It's
this.
a race to nothing.
Yeah, I think
no
it's
sheep
all
here.
been carved up now, and I mean that's unfortunate. Now Puppypaw, he should
Oh!
realistically. Wait, what are you two doing back there?
He missed it in the corner. Does he ever check that? Like, no. Like,
If
because
you
he already
leave it,
scouted that.
wait, hear me out. If you leave it long enough, they become a flock.
Uh, what? Because the storks keep bringing more sheep.
Yeah,
to
they
the
keep
map?
bringing little baby sheep.
Yeah, the storks. They fly in from the edge of the map. and
Wasn't
bring
that in a previous Age of Empires? Was it 3 that had the ability for you to like fatten up livestock and release them? I don't want to open this door because it might just create Malians Mark 2.
You couldn't like release them. You could have them.
Well, you could have them, then they popped out, and then you dunked them over the head and ate them. But
Yeah.
for now, we're going to be eating sheep and berries, and well, it looks like it was the reinforcements
found
ring
them.
from Vortex.
Sorry.
Sorry, what?
He
Oh,
found the sheep. Did you hear that? He found the sheep.
We found the sheep! I mean, he's still got like a third. It's better than game 1. I'll give him that.
And so yeah, it's reinforcement ring. Like we said, this is the build that B did. I wonder if the players have kind of figured something out in practice that I'm a little unaware of. The reinforcement wing, I was kind of considered a bit weaker to the eco wings as an opener, but I think there's this FC build that has a lot of potential, right? You put on harassment with these free units, and then you just go up behind it, right? You force your opponent to be here, and Puppypaw.
Puppy?
Hello?
Is it?
Oh no, he thinks
Is it
it's
these
just
you're
a
looking
scout.
for? Oh,
He thought it was just a scout. Or maybe he.
Well,
he
there is
doesn't
a
shoot from
scout.
the tree.
He brought a friend, a very strong friend
Yeah.
there. So that those guys they hit I think 7 damage in the bow form there. So unfortunate. And there's already a second one. In fact, I think Vortex.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
he's actively scaling into Camel Raiders.
Siege engineering coming in. Why is
What?
his blacksmith on that?
That feels like a misclick, right? I mean, he's building Ghazi Raiders. That has to be a misclick. No. I think he wanted steel arrows so that the TC could kill raiders when they dove.
I don't
Oh,
know
that
what he
hurts.
wanted there, but he can't make siege.
I mean, if he was the
without
Iobids, he
infantry.
could.
I mean, he might add infantry later. It could be a ploy, like it could be an idea to just ram rush like the middle of the map behind this FC, but I think it's an FC still. That's what I believe. Is there
I
a stable there? He actually added a stable, so he's investing.
Yeah, that's
into
what I'm saying.
units, too.
He's been actively producing to the Desert Raiders, right? Like, so
Ghazi
that's why
aren't
he's
gonna
got
be
5
good
already.
against pure Desert Raider. He needs the range coming down, which he does. And I guess the archers, so he goes full wood, seeds map control, and just gets a couple rams out and tries to pressure the House of Wisdom. Like, if we assume it's not a mistake, because now he has ranged armor coming in.
This feels really slow though. Like when have you ever seen someone try to ram rush a House of Wisdom and it go well?
Like on the game release. I remember in team game.
Oh yeah, the
Team
team
games, everyone
game
would
Dark Age
focus the
Abbasid.
Abbasid. Well, yeah, the Abbasids would like focus each other with rams because you could just eliminate them from the game. Remember back in the
Yeah,
Never,
dude, I remember
Sorry.
those team
I played a
games.
lot
I
of
was a
team
roost.
games.
I was a roost player in those team games. That was not fun when the Abbasids turned up my base. I was glad that people started getting them out first.
Yeah.
But this is tough, man. I mean, Vortex is going for advancements. So it's only going to take him a little bit over a minute to get into that castle age, and this is not going to be a fast enough ram timing.
Yeah, I mean the archers are out to deal with them. I mean it depends. It depends on what you do with the age up. Oh man, switch out
I'm gonna
to the
be
sword.
real, by the way. Like I don't think that,
You think it was a
that there was
mistake?
no ram plan. The fact he's building archers confirms it was definitely a mistake, not that it was a part of the plan, right? Because like you want steeled arrow if you're building archers as well.
Right, right. Yeah. You're
You're looking for the hope. I know. We need that innate
You gotta
pride.
hope it wasn't a mistake, yeah, but at the same time, maybe you do at this point. Because I don't see how that comes in. I mean, the gold's on the front. Maybe he could try to pressure the gold with all of his units.
Possibly, but the problem is like your archers are so far away. The only way that would work is if your archers were running straight there, but now with the outpost up, it's a difficult dive. I mean, I actually really love Vortex's approach to this. The worst thing you can do against the Deli is usually play that much longer feudal age. We're now 8.5 minutes in the game when he's going castle age.
I mean,
Take a moment there, buddy.
what if he does want to make rams?
No, don't take it. Take another moment.
He's coming forward with a lot of units.
Because he has
He
to,
just
right?
placed a ram. You can't tell me no when he just placed a ram.
I can tell you no. It's a bold move. We're going to have to see if it pays off here.
I'm not saying
Tech up
should
is
he,
about
I'm
to
saying
complete.
what does he?
I mean, I agree. There's not many other options from this position now than to do this, right? Like, if you try to play Sacred Sites, Lances are going to eat you for lunch, dinner, and breakfast. They do it in reverse. They're going to eat you.
Sounds so edgy.
It really sounds like T-Rex camel genetics going on here, but they are on the way. These camel lancers, you mentioned that Ghazi
He's
can
in
kind of
the
hold them
ram.
off.
We're in, boys.
If
Everybody
he
get
doesn't
in.
know what units I have, he can't counter me.
What's funny is he just showed that, like, if Vortex just looked at the sacred site at any point there, he saw the ram just like rolling over with 10 units inside, just like, don't mind me, on my way.
I think
Like-
this is what we call in CS an ego chow.
Yes.
This is not going to be
Can't
easy. It shouldn't work. Charge comes in. Scout scares them away. Ram's like, I don't want to be here anymore. There's already lost
Another
a
archer
third of its
just hops
HP. Oh no.
I may
Oh
have
no.
miscalculated, he says. Oh my gosh, all the units, and out come the clown cars.
He
Keeps
does
the
get a
ram
Desert
alive.
Raider. Right? He got a whole Desert Raider there. That's a start. That's step one. By the time we reach step two, there's going to be more Camel Lancers, so it's a good thing Puppypaw is now adding in the spears. Now, looks like Raiders are being peeled off to try and deal with those Scholars, but won't be able to be quick enough here. And the Lancers have been given free reign. They found their way into the Archers. There's only one spear here. And the second wave is coming.
Yeah.
I think what we have here is a problem. A consistent problem, actually, in this series of Puppypaw, and it's called cheap.
I think wanting to make the Rams may have been the mistake. I think we thought it was a mistake. Maybe it was. Okay, so I'm wondering if Puppy played this matchup in practice and did not play against this build order, because maybe he thought there was something to it against
He probably
the
played
Ubids,
against the growth
gambling or
build,
something.
right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if it was like Bazaar or something, or like Ecoing, it's just a bit slower, right? Like maybe there was something there, but here it just has not worked, and now triple range coming in. So anything could be coming out of this. Archers, more Desert Raiders, why not, right? Down goes the Sacred Site. So Deli, definitely not in the position they want to be in at this stage. Army of Ghazi's in the north, looking for some sort of opportunity, but there's nothing there. Everything's at home with Vortex's economy for now.
The tough part in this game that I'm really saying is, like, from this position, you're gonna, like, he did go TOV, right? So, like, it kind of offsets some of the value. One of the upsides we do have for Puppypaw is, like, Vortex doesn't have any blacksmith upgrades yet, right? That is the one thing that I could give him, is, like, right now Vortex is not ready to fight, but he has so many different areas to watch now. He's looking to dive onto the eco. He also now has to guard relics because Vortex is going after them, and then you also has to try and keep these sacred sites capped so that he can get the gold to eventually scale. So there's a lot of boxes that need to be ticked for Puppypaw.
Yeah, and like the relics is a big one here, right? Like just the Vortex with these ambulances just running around and grabbing these relics. It's going to be really tricky to stop that. They're quite good at snagging them.
Yeah, not to mention they can just heal off. Like, oh no, you've attacked me. Presses one button. Life is good. So tough one here. And now the other thing to kind of keep in mind in this game is, like, you know, to go back to those builds you were talking about, right? Like growth, I think that was the one that Puppypaw expected, because I don't think Trade Wing Bazaar is very popular on this map because the gold and where it typically spawns, right? And where the other gold spawn, that you just get blocked down. So I think you might be right. Like the military wing reinforcement play, I mean, it kind of showed by the fact how this game began. That he lost. If you think about it, one villager died in this game, that villager that died, he clearly did not expect it to be a military wing play, or he would have reacted a bit quicker.
Yeah, he would have been like looking out for it, right? But he just didn't see it coming at all, and as such is in a big pickle here. He's got more units, but the army value is like almost identical, right? So this big unit mass of archers, what's it really going to accomplish here when he's missing upgrades too? And another scholar just eats it in the face trying to get to the sacred site.
I told you those camels eat people. You didn't believe me. We're seeing it firsthand here. I mean, there's a decent amount of spears here, but these camels are so bloody chunky. I mean, even the raiders are ready for melee fun time.
And then come the lances. The longer this charge goes, the more devastating. Could be looking at some one-shots. Not quite
There's a backstab coming from Puppypaw. Comes in with the Ghazi now. He's going to find those archers. Looking to pinch him here. He might be able to block the camels from getting away. But unable to hold on to them for long. Instead, Vortex willing to exchange a bit. Nice cut down there. Puppypaw gets rid of the range comp. And now he might even be able to hold the remaining camels here. Great, fantastic hold out of Puppypaw. Pushing those camels down and pushing back against Vortex.
Wow, Vortex really doesn't have an answer to this army right now. We were talking about how the army value was equal and how it could have been even better, arguably, for Vortex because of his Castle Age units, but like you were saying earlier, those blacksmith upgrades are coming in, although the blacksmith hasn't done 2 of the upgrades, so it's just been idle for a bit, sadly.
Who cares? He's still winning. Don't take it away from him right now.
We don't talk about these details. We don't think about those because...
he can't turn to fight this. There's just too many spears right now. It means he's going to end up losing the relic here. The camel can't hang around. Ghazi, they're just trying to pinch. They're willing to exchange. Remember, they do get bonus damage up against heavily armored targets. The only thing right now that Vortex can kill in this mass are the archers at the back of it, which he simply cannot reach. And he's been found.
If Vortex retreats, you know what's coming in?
Rams.
No, get out.
Rams. They're coming. I'm telling you, it was part of the plan. He got it for this moment, not for the previous
These villages.
Previous one was a bait.
They're going down now. Vortex. This is close to done. Like right now, Vortex has practically no food access.
It is OGRE Ogre. No, I don't think it's Ogre just yet. He needs to find like a killing blow here. He's got a 4-vill lead. Keeping him off the berries in the north, for example, there's a large villager train heading north, going for the berries and the gold. If he finds that before it's fortified, that would probably be a game ender because that's an exposed... Yeah, that's an exposed resource. He knows he's keeping him off the berries in the south. That's why he's heading up there right now. And that's the big thing. He saw that big train of villagers. He said, oh, you ran to the TC. Well, where could you go?
Wait,
right?
Winston, did he just get protected by Select All Army? Okay, no, Puppypaw's still sending some in. Also, crazy part here, Vortex, I don't think he's built any outposts, yet he has 600 wood. So by the time he starts rushing it up on that north side, probably going to be 4 or 5 military units just attacking him because Puppypaw has found him on those berries. And he pushes him off.
16 food in the bank. And 4 archers in queue. Okay, there's another 30 food. So he can make some units.
But he's got the relic.
Oh, he's got the berries in the front too. So that's
not for long.
Just got food.
I mean, the problem is he hasn't got any camel lancers. He has 3 camel lancers to his name now. So that means now Vortex, the only thing he can build here is archers, and even that requires some food, which he just does not have.
The gold's run out too. All of the economy for Vortex is going to be idle soon, although it looks like some skirmish in the north. We do need to pay attention. If those villas get back on food, it's a big deal. The archers are going to be kiting it. Not going to get back onto the food with that reinforcement. It's going to have to send some of the units up. There are more archers and camel lancers coming up there, which gives the front... Oh, the woodline's under so much pressure now. Oh, this is so problematic for Vortex.
He might just dive around the back to chase.
4 food in the bank, no units in queue. This berry
so
is
so that villager lead is going to escalate, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
he's rushing the berries now. Oh my god, everything is here. The gold workers are over here. I pray to the gods that Vortex is going for a triple outpost drop, because otherwise, that's eco you're going to have to babysit, and that means your wood line at home won't be protected.
Yeah, he's got 20 units all just chilling there. Meanwhile, though, the sacred site's starting to get captured, and that's Puppypaw getting more of a lead here. Although the relic count, keep in mind, that is 4 relics in the bank for Vortex. He has secured 4, which is huge. That's a lot of free gold income at this stage of the game. With such limited economies, it's big. It basically counteracts the sacred sites in a way.
Can we eat the gold?
It depends. It depends on the quality of the restaurants nearby. If you have
how much can you salt it?
If you have a 3-star restaurant, you can go. You know.
Oh, okay.
You give them gold and they give you food, right? That's how it works.
He might have to give a lot of gold to get some food because he might be being pushed off these berries right here. Vortex still outnumbered. Veteran archers, but it just doesn't matter. There's simply too many units. The Ghazi tanker the shots as the archers dive in here. And lancers, there's just not enough of them. The spearmen swarm over them. Heavy damage to them, and now the eco's going to be exposed. Camberland's trying to come in clutch, but there's barely any camels left to kiss better. Dervish goes and just stands here healing a single unit, but the army goes to hell, and Vortex, there is not enough room to protect this much economy with 1 tower. This should be GG.
holy Puppy coming in hot with this game. You know, we kind of all had maybe I don't know if you guys in chat did, but we kind of all laughed. At least KP and I, we were laughing a bit at potentially a shinobi maneuver with the with the ram. It was kind of comical, right? Everyone got in the ram. The ram just died for free. He retreated. He didn't have much, but then that army from Vortix. I think Vortex maybe got a little overconfident. He's like, "Oh, the ram rush failed. Like, I'm in a really good position now." And so he pressured, he went forward, and then just got absolutely dunked on. The Ghazi Raiders came back from their raid and hit the archers from the back, and that fight completely shifted the game. It was incredible how well that worked out for Puppypaw. I wasn't quite expecting it to go that well, but it just shows that Puppy definitely had a good read on that game. And Vortex maybe stumbled a bit there. I think if Vortex had played a bit safer, maybe with his army, maybe it could have worked. But I don't know. Like the economy for Puppy was just kind of kicking in, and we talk about the advancement wing because it's like really strong that you hit castle really fast, but it's a landmark that generates no value after that point. So it's about the tempo, and when the tempo got lost, I think a lot of that kind of fell apart for him, right? Like it just sort of like, oh, like my landmark now is the only thing I'm getting from my House of Wisdom is one camel every 2 minutes compared to, you know, the Tower of Victory, just every single unit being better, right? And we also talked about the blacksmith upgrades. It just kind of all stumbled a bit and wasn't quite able to afford everything he wanted. So it's the second time we've seen that build order. Maybe there were more, but the second time I've seen that build order in this tournament. There was one in the quarterfinals, and B did not win with it. And now here, Vortex did not win with that strategy as well. At least Deli seems like it has a firm grip on that build order. So curious to see if players attempt to use it in the future if they're paying attention to this, or maybe they have ideas on how to execute it better. But dang, that was impressive.
I think this is the dangers of Gorge, by the way. This map is intentionally designed that way. You can't just be greedy. You can't just think towards this castle age, which is really what Vortex was doing there, right? Because the moment you do that, you see the weakness. It's all this resource exposed on the flanks that you have to secure. There's two types of games that occur on Gorge, those with no walls and those with many, right? There's no in between. And this was a no wall game, which is actually a thumbs up for the Deli with this type of comp. I think really you have to give so much props to Puppypaw for keeping those Ghazi on the wide flanks for so long. A lot of other players would have desperately rushed them into that mid engagement that you were talking about where Vortex was marching across. And then all of a sudden you're fighting a death push versus a death push. It doesn't look as good. The reason that fight looks so good is because the Ghazi removed the archers immediately, and then they body blocked the retreat of the camels. And that was the critical fight that gave control of this game over to Puppypaw. We're going to have to see if he can now maintain control of this series. Puppypaw, for the first time with a lead here. Big shout out to DeSantiago and also Satgas coming to the subs. I see both of you. Fantastic. Keep it rolling. Keep the support coming. And we will keep the action going into the night. Game number 4, Puppypaw versus Vortex. Juji's legacy up against the Malians. And we're taking to an open one here. It's prairie time.
Yeah, Malians have been performing quite well in this tournament. I think there was some question coming into the tournament, like, are these new civs just going to dominate the old classics? And before the DLC released, Malians probably undisputed #1. Maybe you could argue Rus or Ottomans. Maybe like there were some other questionable like questions, but like Malians were always in the conversation for best civ in the game. And with 6 new civs, I think a lot of people were like, okay, are Malians still the top tier civ, right? And if you look at it, I think they lost 1 game in the quarterfinals, but won 2. I'm checking that right now. Yeah, in the quarters, that was the case. Malians did lose on Gorge to Jean in Lucifron versus Marine Lord, but that set was kind of a wash there for Marine Lord. So we'll see. I mean,
Well, hold on a second. I think you're getting too angsty about the Malians. All that matters to me, because I have not actually seen Juji on Prairie. What are the options looking like here? You know what I'm talking about. All right, brass tacks, meditation garden. Where can we place it?
You thinking of this? Okay. Not a lot of good spots. Is that good? I don't know
So
if
that's going to be 48 food, 30 gold, and then like maybe 10 wood. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Is there any fat berries? I don't think there's. Is there any 8 berry stacks on this map? I can't remember. I don't think there is in Prairie, right? I think it's all 6s.
Yeah.
All right, we found the way to balance meditation garden, guys. You can only pick it on Prairie. Yeah. You could get double stone, but I mean. All right, I'm happy. I'm actually happy. I don't have to have a rant about Meditation Gardens for once. We can go back to ranting about the Malians.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just interesting to see how Malians have still been quite good. A high valued pick on a lot of the different maps, and they're still doing the same build order, right? It's still just get 2 pit mines up, Donso, Jav, right? Like it's been that for the last 6 or 7 months ish, right? And you macro cows into, you know, I call it the Golden Corral. I know that's not the name.
The Grand Fulani
The
Corral.
Fulani Corral. Yeah, I really should stop calling it the Golden
Don't you
Corral.
make these things?
Don't talk to me about that. Details. No.
But it's yeah, I think we just call it the cow money maker. That's the easiest way to think about it. I mean, we've seen some insane games where that can be the difference of 40 villages for an economy for the Malians. So definitely a strong tool. And also considering that you have so much gold safely right next to your base, not a hard play to get into on this particular map. It looks like that Meditation Garden is going to be going where we anticipated here.
Did he
So
tag the gold with that?
He should. It's deceptive because, like, remember the hitbox for the gold? Yeah, you see these pebbles? There you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Scary.
It always looks dicey when I see those ones. I'm like, are you sure, buddy? It's like, of course he is. He's a pro.
Yeah, he definitely placed it knowing it would give gold. Like, there's a UI indicator that tells you what you're going to get. So it's, like, very hard to misclick that.
I think you're being too helpful to GG pickers, to be honest. Let them just kind of, like, instinctively guess. Yeah. That's the nerf. They have to spend longer looking.
Just guess. Just instinct it, yeah.
Oh, look at that. The worst meditation garden is being built.
Well, it's interesting because on the maps with the 8k gold mines, Malians just immediately get a leg up because they're starting... Pit mine can have 12 buildings around it, whereas the standard gold mine can only have... you can only support 8, so immediately getting more value. And it's safer as well to have that many houses. And it just feels really good to play Malians on maps like this, so... You can see the big mining community has been built up. It wasn't able to fit 12 because there was a tree in the way. That's sad.
Well, that's clearly an unfair spawn to Vortex, right?
Get rid of this tree.
Oh, one day. Jiangnan Tower coming out for Puppypaw. Meditation Garden hasn't been complete yet. Welcome to the world of China. This is just how they roll. We could be seeing... actually, this is an interesting thought. I was about to say, we could be seeing like these weird builds where you can just spam stables, right, to get like tax rebate. Because with the Jiangnan, if you build a military building, and you get a unit for free. One thing to keep in mind on this map, though, Prairie's very limited on wood, so that type of strategy for the Juji isn't long-term effective, right? It's good for 2 or 3 buildings, but then all of a sudden your forest is gone.
Yeah, it's also nice. Well, it also going Jiangnan versus not. It's interesting, right? Because you're gonna get a later castle timing no matter what, because you're sacrificing the castle discount, right? But on the other hand, you're enabling wood savings, right? Song Dynasty saves a lot of wood for a lot of your different buildings, just not the production buildings, right? So it's quite potent on a map like this, where maybe wood savings is a priority for Puppy, because he knows that Malians are going to hit a timing, and Juji's, I feel like their timing is a little bit later than the Malians, right? Like, and it's also scary because like a big, massive Jugnu is not going to do very well against Danso Jav. I feel like Malians might be one of the best civs to deal with, just the Jugnu, like solo mass.
Also,
so I don't know what you go for if you're Puppy, you know?
I think you could look towards Castle Age and Path Guard spam, right? So like the cool thing about that is Mustafadi can counter you, but you can run away from them to a certain degree. The other thing to keep in mind is, like, because he's spawned in a corner and he's playing towards that corner, it's much easier to make that farm transition. And to your point you're making, Song Dynasty 40% wood discount. I think one of the biggest problems I see with Juji at the moment is that farm transition, that granary transition, was originally one of the most fragile points in the game for Chinese players. Juji do it like it's nothing. I've seen full granary transitions by like 9 minutes, and it's just almost casual at that stage, right?
Yeah, it's really nuts.
The fair thing of this, though, is it's against the Malians, so...
Yeah, if we're talking about free resources and strong economy scaling, look no further. Interestingly, he brought the 2 warrior scouts over to
wow.
Nice micro.
It's not just 2, by the way. He's going for a lot of warrior scouts.
We had 2 at the meditation gardens, and I thought it was going to be like...
Wait, that guy's meditating on the go. What?
Idle it.
Look at him go.
Oh, he's chilling.
You want me to walk? That's the meditation gardens power, folks. There we go.
He's just having a good time. You complaining about skating now? You don't see the rollerblades he's got, in high school? Sorry.
I'm
gonna
whoa,
bring
whoa, whoa,
guys
you
back.
mean your great granddad in the feudal age didn't have a skateboard?
No, it's wheelies, or
You didn't have
heelys. They were
wheelies.
called heelys. They put little wheels in the heel of your shoe, and they were banned in schools when I was a kid. And you
You
would
bought some, didn't you?
No. The cool kids though, they would like roll around with like you put like your heels into the ground and you put your toes up, and you can just like roll around like the.
You know too much about this.
You could roll around, and yeah, I know the technique. I was jealous. I always wanted them.
Did they just not do them in your size?
Too small.
Yo, so this is interesting. He's now going to disrupt the meditation garden, which is a cool idea here. We didn't ever look at how much overall. There should have been 48 food and I think 30 gold plus like the 10 or 15 wood.
Yeah.
And each of those units in there reduce that income now per minute by 10%.
Yeah. So that's, like cutting off that landmark by half, that's kind of the counterplay, right? It generates a lot of res, but here you can see on a map like Prairie, in order to get that resource, it has to be placed in a more exposed location. So if Vortex wanted to, he can maybe micro in circles around that for a while and do some significant eco damage in a unique way, right? But instead, he's going to be pulling back his units and just idling the defenders.
Horseman coming in now as well. It's kind of crazy. Like, I actually kind of like Puppypaw's position. I don't know if I'm going to like it in 2 minutes because I can see what Vortex is doing, right? But this is 100% a Farimba play. This is not a Fulani. So it's going to hit strong in Castle Age, but the trade-off there is it has to hit fast.
Well, his gold's under pressure. For Farimba, you need gold. Is he mining in the north, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He set up the pit there, right?
He could run some bills up there, but that's risky. That's so risky. Losing losing his first vill, sorry.
2 horsemen going down, though. And also, he's losing Spearmen to the Scouts.
To the Warrior Scouts, yeah.
Oh, we forgot this was a thing, right? They stopped doing this, but welcome back, Nanotech Scouts.
Yeah, this is a throwback game from Vortex, going Warrior Scouts into Farimba. It's like, what year is this? No, I'm just kidding. It's awesome to see that, a lot of their build orders are still viable. It's an interesting adaptation on this map. Generally, you wouldn't see this, but you have the 8k gold mine, so you can mine it for a long, long time. This also gives you access to another pit mine should you need it. It's also nice because you're using less of your wood, right? You're saving on a lot of production buildings or the castle, and the cattle transition is pretty wood intensive. You need seven ranches, right? And that adds up. It's not a trivial,
Do you
transition.
know what doesn't add up? Farms for the Chinese, pretty easy to do actually. With Song Dynasty, we've got a TC and the granary already. So now, look at Puppypaw's resource gain. Look at his food income. Vortex, he's got the Farimba. But we have to remember the Farimba isn't fast to begin with, right? It does need time to build up, and he's going to need time to cross this map. Not to mention the fact he's going Donzos and Javs, both of which are going to need upgrades as well.
Yeah, and the gold mine in the north gets found. The Ville does not go down, though, crucially. But the house is going to start to get torched, but Puppy on the retreat here, maybe recognizing his time is limited in the space, so just gonna try and get a little bit of value, knowing, okay, there's a Farimba here, I gotta be careful. Surely he knows it's Farimba, right? He scouted that, or he's aware of it.
It was smuggled away, but if it was ranches, you would have seen ranches already, right? So there's no way a player goes up with Fulani with 2 ranches, because plenty of players have tried that before. It never works. You just don't get any impact from your Castle Age Rush. So
Shaolins.
Hello.
Oh, the Shaolins are actually going to be really good against Donzo Jav.
Dude, with granaries as well, he can afford them. He can keep pumping them. He's got the double tax man, right? So he's able to increase the food income. Also, look at the way the relics generated here. He's got this concave kind of away from him, but I'd say it's very easy for him to sweep and grab 3, if not 4 of these relics.
Yeah, we'll see if Vortex tries to get on the map with it. I don't think he's at the wood for the monastery just yet. Or, sorry, the mosque for Malians. So, not sure we'll see that just yet. Building it now, because he needs to contest the relics of his own.
We also might see a monastery rushed in by Puppypaw. There is a popular build, I think Matisse have been practicing it, where you actually go for the monastery and then you drop a standard one. Because if you think you're going to get 4 relics, you need a second monastery anyway. But the difference is it just gets you out on the map quickly, and you're not just using only food. You can now split your investment into religious units between food and gold.
Yeah, makes sense. And we'll see the Javs. These are from the Farimba, likely.
Death to taxes.
The taxes. They yell as the taxman goes down. Vortex.
You know
Big
what?
army
Okay.
here.
Here we go. Nerf that we need for the Juji. When the taxman dies, he drops coins everywhere that like taunt the villagers into collecting them. All right, I'm gonna stop. We'll do design
Weird.
after this. Torches are coming in. This outpost has not been upgraded, so it's not gonna last long. It's gonna force Puppypaw to take the engagement. Spearmen are moving out now, so at least we'll be able to protect the villagers. You'd think, but they're not moving.
Ooh. Oh. Oh.
What? How?
Oh.
How?
Wow, he kept it alive. So Puppy gets a little lucky there, but it works for him. How did
Is it
that
luck
scout
or is
just
it just
die?
next level distraction?
How
I
did
think that
that
was a
scout
hand
just
cannon
die?
slit. Hand cannon slit. Boop, boop.
From what? Oh,
From that giant TC, right?
I missed,
next
I
to it.
missed it. Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention. I was thinking
That's
about
the
the
power
coin
of guns.
idea.
You usually don't see it coming.
All right. So that actually, that's pretty funny. All right. Sorry. That's the first joke that's made me laugh from KP in years. I'm just kidding.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I'm just kidding. Though. I
Well,
don't know why
this,
that got me. I wasn't expecting that.
Frim is kind of looking like a
moving
bit
on.
of a joke right now, though, right? Like, I don't feel like it's hit. Puppypaw doesn't look like he's limping through this. I mean, relic-wise, that might be difficult for Puppypaw to now reach into, but he's getting Nest of Bees, he's got mass spears, and I mean, Vortex, how do you easily counter this? I guess you can control the map. That's the one upside, right? Is like if Juji come out now into the open field, you can flank them. But you ever get that feeling when you play Chinese where you're like, I kind of have to go kill them. I'm gonna have to dive that base.
Yeah, at some point you need to win the game, and that can be hard with Chinese. Juji, well, just because like you feel so safe and cozy, right? They're so strong defensively. A couple of bees out as well already too. So Vortex gonna have to find some solution to that. A third nest of bees is gonna mean this whole game is gonna slow down. This is a great counterplay to the Malian all-in with the Farimba. And I'm not exactly sure what Vortex can do against 3Bs unless he brings Springolds forward and stuff. Like, I don't think he can dive this base anymore. There's plenty of spears to kind of body block, right?
Yeah.
And if he has relics, he could even use the Shaolin conversion with the ability as well to just, like, really zone stuff away. So the safety of this base right now is paramount, it seems, to Puppy. And he just wants to continue scaling, right? Because he knows the Farimba kind of puts you on a clock, right, KP? So obviously Puppypaw just going to keep adding into those farms, keep scaling up. Well, Vortex is all-inning into what, right? Like, he's not all-inning right now.
And the problem is, like, the way that Puppypaw played this, if you think about it, he's got enough wood in the back of his base to make a complete farm transition with Trip Granary due to the Song Dynasty savings. Like, you're not going to exhaust him quick enough here. He will reach a strong point to come out. The fact he starts with an 8k gold and then has perma food means he could actually reach Imperial Age before he has to come out of this corner.
Yeah, that would be really nuts. The relic count, though, staying pretty even. It might even be Vortex who, with this big, massive units, keeps map control. As see a conversion, it goes down.
That's
scary.
two relics
Only a
still up for
couple
grab.
spearmen there.
Yeah, but look at the nest of bees. Get out of here.
The reveal on those.
The Spearmen, they are actually on stand ground right now. Live by the bee, die by the bee. It's going to be a wraparound attempt, but it's not easy in all these choke points. Vortex going in for a harder dive here. Nest of Bees getting the flurry out on the south side of the engagement. Springle's even added in by Puppypaw because of the paranoia. He has just enough Spearmen to hold the north side of this. One or two Soakers flanking around, but it feels like Vortex is losing a lot for it. However, the Spearmen are falling. The Shallow's moving across now. They're decent melee fighters in these choke points. They have also got the hardened armor against the ranged units, and Vortex will not have enough to break through.
He'll kill all the bees. Maybe. Oh, it doesn't even kill all the bees. Okay, so he just kind of threw his whole army into that. The army value definitely evens out now, right? Only 1,000 lead, and the Farimba's whole thing is pumping that number up, right?
Well, you're going to have to reset and go again. The problem is he's trying to pump up Sofas as the counter, but he's up against mass spears here as well. Like, makes it even worse for him. Nesta Beast is drunk out in the town there, but luckily his bodyguard arrives in time. But even just the Shaolins there, that was really cool. When he pulled the Shaolins in, you notice these archers weren't countering the spears anymore. The A-click meant that they were hitting a unit that was reducing the damage it took by 50%. So really cool little read there by Puppypaw. And the cool thing is because wood is limited, actually scaling Shaolin is beneficial. 200 food unit, only food. And food is the thing that is eternal on this map.
Yeah, especially with the granary setup. It's just so, so, so good. And we'll even see if Puppy starts adding in some additional landmarks here. He could go to Yuan, although I think he's still adding farms, so probably not wise to go Yuan just yet, but I mean that might be enough to consider going now. Getting the
You could
unit
get
discount is huge, right?
Yeah, maybe get a second layer of farms on that northwest side of the granaries, right? Because that's still an efficient range from what I've seen. I think it's like you can go 2 tiles out and it's worthwhile on granaries. Nice charge on the backside here. So Sofas are still being chased by the spears. Vortix, a little bit slow with the peel away though, so they'll start to lose a few. And he has got a second wave seeping in on the east side of this, so might try to just do circles around the base and hit economy.
Yeah, the flood is built back up to 5,000 memory value for Vortex. 38 units on the map compared to the 35 or 6, but most of Puppy's army is the spearmen, so if there is a counter, it's that. But 3Bs once again, so Puppy's probably feeling cozy again. Like, what is a big push going to do except repeat history? And in the meantime, the Vil count has grown for Puppypaw. He's up to 80 against the 52 of Malians. We might need to see something clever here from Vortex to not get caught out here. Maybe a TC. He's got his comfort mine set up, not being attacked at all, right? But
Is it me, or is he still not taking the relics? In fact, Puppypaw is walking a second relic back from that southern corner. A capture rage doesn't show it with Shallow Monks, but there you go. He's waddling his way back in. Now, unlikely to be scouted there, so that's another little detail that matters, right? Giving Puppypaw that longevity. We also have to consider this is a civ that can build pagodas, so even more value to be gained out of the relics for them.
yeah, and these raids, they're meaningful, you know, killing a Vil every now and then, but you're trading away your army for it, right? And if you want to win with the Farimba timing, like you're trying to do here, it needs to be insane. Do we see a cattle boom coming in from Vortex yet? It should have started at this point, right?
Nope.
Still no. That's actually kind of nuts that he hasn't done that. Like, he doesn't have much passive scaling outside of the pit mines, which admittedly are amazing on this map, but it's kind of crazy, right?
It's kind of feeling a bit weird, right? Because like the other thing is, I think he needs a lot more food. I actually think the win condition for him, and it's going to sound weird, but bear with me, is Sofas. Even though he's up against all these spears, you just saw what a few can do getting into the back of that eco. It's also probably the only way he's going to easily be able to reach these nest of bees. I mean, he's going Springolds, but it's very difficult to dive past into these bases. So like if Puppypaw pulls 1 or 2 buildings back with his nest of bees, the new wave of units can just wrap around and take out the anti-siege. It feels like it has to be Sofas or broke.
Yeah, he's got the Springolds, though. And there's only 1 Springold in defense for Puppy, so...
Shuji's been built up here. That's been spotted. Vortix! He sees a 3,600 investment. If there's any time to break the base, it's going to be now. Nesta Bees moving forward. Wallow coming out. That's going to force Vortix to react. Nesta Bees getting good flurries out because he has to snipe it down. Good hit here as the spears charge forward. The Nesta Bees, they're just throwing themselves away at this stage. They know the Springald's going to kill them off. He has killed off 1 of the Springolds, but the Nesta Bees reduced down to 2. Spearman count still at 40, and Vortex, he's stopping the tech up. But is this going to be enough to dive the base?
I think so. The Archer Mass is going to go uncontested here, and so the Spearmen are going to trade out against the Sofas. The Sofas even backing up wisely here, just letting the Archers do their job. The cancellation of the library comes in, so Imp not going to be an option for Puppy just yet unless he builds it on the north somewhere. Still floating all those resources. Looks like he's going to try and invest it into units, but only Spearmen into this army isn't going to work, and suddenly, look at the military counts. 50 units and 25, 2-to-1 basically.
This is essentially more than that, right? Because those 20 that are alive, they ran out to the sacred site to decap. That was so crafty by Vortex. The timing on that perfect. And now Puppypaw has to migrate the farming area. Crazy part about that as well, he didn't even try to rush the tech up. He left the Jujis there. Vortex, every second, that landmark stood incomplete. Confidence swelled for him. And now, I don't think he's been more confident in this series. Vortex parked deep in the economy, and Puppypaw with 2/3 of that eco not even working.
Yeah, and he still has a Vil lead, but look at that 50 idle Vils. Like you said, 2/3, quite literally. Like, that's a lot of idle economy, and that's super painful to look at. And it's still idle. Like, it's just going to be idle. There is no resolution to this. He pulls the boys to kill the Springold, which was raiding the granaries solo, which is a bold move, but it panned out, I guess. There's no bees on the field still. The passive fire of the TC might slowly clean up the archers, but the Sofas are going to soak up a lot of damage. And this is
He
mainly
has
not
got
gonna be
Palace
enough.
Guard coming though. Like Palace Guard are coming out, right? To counter out what is mostly archers. So I think
enough.
that's maybe what's been missing here, but it might be a bit too slow. I mean, damage still being done. That's the thing we have to maintain here. Like Vortex's economy has been active. Problem is, same as it was before, if he doesn't kill Puppypaw with this dive, he once again has to reset and rebuild, and for Rimba, that's where it can be a problem.
I don't think Puppy's gonna work his farms again this game. I don't
Ever.
think it's gonna happen. Yeah, this game. Well,
At
ever.
all.
I mean, hopefully next game. But
Well, he's still got some working at the back, so I mean, technically. Yeah, he's
On
got
the
like that
left
small
corner.
cluster that isn't in the granary. It's
Yeah.
depressing income, but that's where he's getting about 200 food from.
He's going back. Okay, so he's got enough now, but in comes another wave on the south, and you're kind of right. If Vortex stalls out here, he only has 23 units on the field. I was expecting to see that number stay around 50, but it looks like his production stalled out a bit at home. Maybe now he was trying to invest in something himself, or maybe some Vills went idle of his own, but Vill count has been neutralized, and that's very deceiving for Malians. They have the pit mine mass completely uncontested, and that's a lot of resources that keep coming in for Puppy. Gonna protect the farmland. Okay, so he's back on the farm. I immediately eat my words. I was completely wrong.
Puppypaw's like, I'll take that bet. What are you coughing up today?
I admit I was wrong. I misread that.
You
entirely.
underestimated the stubbornness of the Juji to never give in. I mean, he did lose a lot of economy, but that brought him down to Vortex's raw count. Like, obviously, we have to equate pit mines as well, but then on the flip side, you have got things like granaries. If this was a game where Vortex had made the full ranch transition, this just looks like a domination. But there is now a world in which Puppypaw can stabilize, because those ranches, I believe they still haven't even begun to be built.
Yeah. The economy scaling. Yeah, it's definitely weird for Vortex, but I gotta say it's been working. Every time I feel like Puppy should be comfortably winning a fight, he doesn't. I think last fight was definitely not enough Springolds, right? The only one Springold was insanity at that stage, knowing that I guess he didn't scout that the Springolds were coming for Vortex. He didn't realize that there was such danger on the horizon, and I think that really caught him by surprise. That was really brutal, that one fight.
It also feels like
value, but not enough.
it kind of also feels like this is one of the awkward things was usually having feudal age pass guard is like if you see you need to transition to them, you have to wait for the upgrade as well, right? Which maybe once you saw that dive coming out, like a normal Chinese play would have been, oh, okay, that's archers, I'll build pass guard straight away. But I feel like he was more delayed because of that. But has got another army together. Finally picks that relic up again and takes it back. Garrison's going to come on the outpost. The ram has been built. Free Springles means no Nesta B shenanigans. If you want to win these fights, we get out the swords, we get out the spears, and we do it in fisticuffs.
Yeah, and a second Treb on the way as well, so they keep going to start getting pressured. I mean, later, right? You got to get through the TC first, but...
You got to get across the map first.
Yeah, they're coming. Give them time. They're slow. They got to waddle across the map.
I think, has he got greased axles as well? That kind of doesn't feel like it, right?
He's been boiling oil coming in for puppies, so feeling rich here. That's a very expensive technology at 700 res, and...
Very surprising technology, considering where that castle is, right? Because it's to the left of GC. Yeah.
Like, if you're getting sieged there, isn't the game over? Oh, well, another keep.
Oh,
kinda
well,
maybe
okay, now justified. He is gathering stone in the southern corner, by the way, so he might actually have enough for a third keep here, which would explain it. Okay, no, forget that. There's not.
That sneak was really smart. He did that a while ago. He also snuck to the north with some vills, it looks like. Unless there's a raid. No, yeah, there's a raid.
And also, he could be ballsy here. He could move towards Vortex's base for more stone from that south side. Wouldn't surprise me. But speaking of keeps, Vortex says, I want to get on the action here.
Keep making your keeps, puppy, says Vortex, and he makes his own keep. Sacred Sight's not quite able to stay for Vortex. He hasn't really had the ability to keep all of them in control, which is a bit weird given how penned in Puppy's been, but it's a lot of micro. That
Might get found on the north, by the way. He's moving out towards the Sacred Site on the gold. Is he going to turn? He found the food instead. Okay, so these pocket economies of Vortexes are not guarded sufficiently. Only one Donso, so Lancer's starting to get some licks in here, which is important considering what we keep highlighting about the food. There are no ranches for the Malians at 26 minutes in. These pocket ecos are what are keeping the sofa mass building.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. But yeah, if it doesn't work, it's gonna stop working. That's my commentary.
Thank you for the advanced analysis.
Yeah, that's.
Do you have a PhD?
The two, actually. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's one of those things where with the Farimba, you don't need the cattle as much, you could argue, like if the Farimba is, but at this stage, I don't think the Farimba is nearly even like half of his production, right? So it's one of those things where, yeah, getting this food transition is gonna become more and more and more important. And at some point, Vortex is gonna have to pay the price. He's gonna have to either build farms or cattles or a little bit of both. He's gonna have to do something, right? Because he doesn't have the Golden Corral to support him here. Oh man, Treb's coming in though. He might just try to end it without going to food. He could keep making archers off of his food and keep spamming Danso out of the
Are you seeing where Puppypaw is getting his gold? Not there.
bold.
That is incredibly bold.
I mean, if the Trebs just move forward, I think they would see around the tree line, right? Like right now. Did they see that? Yeah, let's just say the Trebs should see that.
At this point, you're so deep in the base, though, right? Oh no. No, they're going for it.
He's too good. He's too good.
Puppypaw, run. Fly. He'll make his way through the wall. Now, he did get a decent amount of gold there, which is critical, because Puppypaw did just go into Imperial Age. He's getting the upgrade in the spears. Now, this is going to be big.
How?
Granaries. That's all I've got for you, man.
So what does he do here? He's getting elite spearmen. That's the first thing. The keep goes down. Not even worth repairing against this many Trebs. Four out there.
How. I say ni hao. Look at the extra upgrades he got from that gold. We aren't just getting the spears, we're getting the power scout upgrade as well. We're also getting Lancer raids on the flanks again to Vortex. Now, Vortex, he does have a very big military lead, but because he went Trebs, it's not a quick kill. It's giving a sense of hope, an opportunity maybe for Puppypaw to take one last fight, and he's even going in for the Fire Lancer charge from the Juju's library.
It's going to be one big charge to see if it works, and the raid kind of gets repelled there, but looks like a lot of vills just died. A lot of vills died.
Yeah,
for that.
repelled because there's nothing left for them to kill. Jeez.
How did he go imp? I'm still thinking about that. What was that the right call, you think, to go imp here? Like with such limited map control?
Honestly, he was already playing a gamble game on that gold. I think Vortex in the next 5 minutes would have been like, there's no way Juju has this much passive gold, right? And if he went looking, like you already mentioned, you praised Puppypaw for those flank eco grabs. That they worked because they weren't spotted. I do not believe Vortex for another 5 minutes would have checked them. So
he's on the north.
Like he's
on the gold in the north. What a cheeky player. Oh, okay. On the gold in the north was maybe an exaggeration.
He's got an IO and a villager there. That's.
It's like you're the tiny town in the tiniest town in the world. You got a population of 2, and there's one person's job is to like man the convenience store, and the other person's job is to tax the convenience store and write the paperwork for the government. Like, that's so funny. It's like one guy, he's like, I'm gonna make sure you get all the gold out of this.
Dude, I love that brag. Just be like,
line.
You can just be like, technically, my shop employs 50% of our economy.
It's so funny. It's like such egregious like income inequality right there.
Oh, that hold on, Winston. This is egregious. He's run out of time. He can't wait any longer.
He's going.
That's his last landmark. He
but
has
the
to take the fight.
charge will be scary. Oh, right. Yeah.
Not when you use it on one unit.
Well, we'll see. There's still a lot of fireworks in the mix there.
It done nothing. It actually done nothing.
He didn't do it yet. It didn't happen.
I mean, he started to, and it kind of didn't do anything.
The keep's gonna go up, and now, yeah, this landmark being under pressure here. The landmark victory. There's 2 landmarks left, actually. I think the Meditation Gardens is still up. And the Juju Library, right? Yeah, so there's 2 landmarks live. Well, and Vortex is wisely thinking about both of these. He's targeting these down. He says, you wanna keep being stubborn about this. I'm gonna show you the Trebs. You can't mess with me. This game is... Puppypaw has to take a fight. The Trebs are about to loop to the south, and the game's gonna end.
Yep, and well, no, you just dive, right? You have so many torches, you could just kill the Meditation Garden. Like, you don't even have to wait for Trebs. So, like, Puppypaw now has to fight here. There's no choice in this.
He's got the imp upgrades he's gonna get, right? He's not gonna get more. You gotta go at some point.
He's got melee tech 1.
Yeah, but it's what you got. It's not what you want, right?
Can I wait? A little bit
longer?
longer?
Getting in range is death. The Rams are gonna kill him, actually, if he doesn't check it.
He's actually targeting the Trebs intentionally here. Puppypaw with the wraparound here. The Fire Lancers do go off. But damage, though, isn't going to be enough. He continues to dive in. That double keep the Trebs. Does he even realize?
How aware is Puppy of this, though?
Ignore this. Take that ram. Oh, my God. He's got... Oh, wait. 1 spearman versus a ram.
No, dude. No way.
It's not going to be enough, is it?
This game like this.
You
I mean,
no,
it's
you
probably GG regardless.
check,
Oh,
check
he's
the
just going
sushi.
for it.
Check the sushi. Is he repairing it? Is he rush repairing it right now? He's not. He's not repairing any landmarks. Puppypaw, this is it. The dive comes in. Vortix sees the opportunity. The villagers are pulled, but now the army's there to finish it off. Puppypaw gets caught out of position, and Vortix will make it 2-2 to draw the series up.
Wow. And down he goes to the landmark snipe. Okay, so he didn't respect the meditation codes. You could see actually there was a moment he pulled 4 units to deal with the Rams. And then I think those are still in another hotkey group or something, and they just turned around and they said, "Nope, we're not dealing with the Rams. We got to go help the main fight." They didn't want to get left behind with the cleanup crew, and it turns out you needed a cleanup crew there. That landmark got way too low from those 2 Rams. The one keep was not enough to deal with that. The one spearman was not enough to deal with that, and yeah, maybe not realizing that the landmark victory was on the horizon there. Like you're saying, maybe repair the library in the north. I wonder if he had enough wood even. Economy was tight at the end there. But we're 2-2, like you said, KP. Insane game. That was a really interesting game. Malians, they're so good. even old build orders are still dominant, right? Oh man. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff.
Just needed a moment to process that.
Yeah.
That was
You're good. You are good.
that was
Take it all in. Just take it all in.
whew, that's what we come to EGC for. That's what we expect to be delivered. A game where Puppypaw is on the ropes constantly. But guess what? This is not one of those romantic underdog stories where they get that one punch in, they come back. Turns out the big bulky guy who keeps hitting you eventually comes out ahead. What a way for Vortex to do it as well. Like to the point around what you were saying about the repair, I think one issue is if he tried to repair with more than 3 people, it costs a lot of wood, right? So
Yeah.
he may have had enough wood with 3 villagers, but he didn't have enough time. So I think that's actually one tricky thing about the nerfs to maxing on repair, right? I think it's, if you have more than 3 villagers, you spend a lot more wood than you get for repair on HP. So that's a really big kicker in the teeth there. They stopped a lot of comebacks, right? I think the original idea was it was meant to be a nerf to keep repairing, but instead, it also applies to situations like this. Nonetheless, fantastic game. And now we move into Rocky River, and I'm a little bit shocked by this, actually. Rocky River, I'd say it's like S tier for the Japanese, but we already used one Japanese, the other one got banned. I would say it's really good for Abasses and Iabids as well. Those aren't coming out. It's Jeanne d'Arc versus Malians.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you feel about this matchup in general. Let's see. I have to think about it just for a moment. We saw Lucifron beat Marine Lord in this matchup as Jean last weekend.
I'm trying to remember what was the play there because he didn't do any like tower rush shenanigans or anything. He just played like into the feudal and milk to slight edge, right?
Yeah, it was on Gorge, and I think if I recall the game, it was pretty standard JD gaming. I think it was pretty normal stuff. Just had like good engagements. He hit tier 3, I think, at a decent time, so he was getting the AoE hits to end the game. And Castle Age, yeah, it was fine. It was against the Malian player did branches, if I'm recalling this correctly, on Gorge. I think it was just a bit of like Jeanne d'Arc did the Knight Archer opening, as you expect, and then just kind of held the map, pinned it in, and the resources for Malians weren't enough in that little pocket. That's what I recall. So I would assume that on this map it's a bit different with the potential for docks, right?
I think it's not even the docks. I actually think that the solution to Jeanne d'Arc here is prolonged feudal, where you just mass Donzo javelins. Like the more I'm thinking about it, the more my brain is like, no, wait, you literally just play standard Malian right now, which is Donzo Jav scaling. Because javelins have high base damage, higher than archers, which means they're actually a good counter to Jean level 2. And also that counters the archer follow-up for Jeanne d'Arc. So I'm wondering if Vortex has that in his mind, and we might be looking at like a fast castle Jean game, because that could be very interesting, because that would give you access to men-at-arm spam.
I guess I don't know. Like, does Danzo Jeff feel good against Sean? I guess yeah. You can poke her with the Danzo throw. You can poke her with the jabs, but
Well,
I've
Donzos
never
have
felt that
more
Danzo
effective
Jav
HP.
feels great against Knight Archer though. Like you have to remember Jean's not alone, right? Knight Archer always feels like it kind of has a handle on Danzo Jav, especially from French. Like in a way, like not in like a great way. It's not like decisive all the time. It's just it's not like some matchups where Danzo Jav can be a runaway issue that you just can't solve. The Knights can just take good engagements. They can kind of raid the pit mines that you've built. It's tricky. I don't think it's super clear.
The problem there is like you're assuming that this fight takes place on an open battlefield, right? And we've seen that whenever it's that Donzo Jav mass, it doesn't take place in an open battlefield. It takes place in their base. And the issue with that is like what's the French's and Jean's strongest edge? It's melee units, right? It's the melee units. But when you're fighting in choke points, you fight with like a third or a quarter of your melee. So that I think that's where I'm thinking. If this is one of those spawns, which can happen on Rocky River, where the Malians get two close golds on opposite sides of their base, and they're able to
Yeah.
just stack those, then I think we just have a classic camp your base and win the game. If it's wider and they have to come out for their second gold vein, then we have a game. And well, before we get into that game, just a reminder of what's been happening this series. Actually, we've got these wonderful cards just to highlight the aggressiveness has been adding up a lot on both sides. So I believe that stat, especially that last game. Interesting one coming into this. Statistically, Puppypaw wins 85% of the time these guys match up. He is the favorite in this matchup historically between these two.
Really?
Yes. You
I
can
find
see at
that
the
really
bottom there.
interesting.
It's crazy, right? Like 18 wins, 10 losses, 6 wins,
Wow.
1 loss series wise. So
Impressive.
when we look at it from that standpoint, Puppypaw should be leading this series, but gotta say,
we're missing a scorecard though. We're missing like sheep finding ability.
oh, that's true. Yeah, we didn't
which-
expect that.
Which, given this series, recency bias might be a bit at play here, but I might give Puppy like a 2 or a 3 this series on that. Like, man, getting screwed twice by sheeps is really really rough. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully he does a little bit better this game. Already has more than he had in a game that he's lost. So already doing better than the bare minimum, right?
So what you're
Sorry,
saying
a
is
little
we
bit of shade.
need
He doesn't deserve that. He's playing so well. It's really
no.
crazy.
I think you're right. What we need is we need a new stat on those cards that just says
Yes.
casino, and you rank it 1 to 10. But
Good.
hopefully, as you said, with him getting some sheep to start off with, it's not going to be one of those games. In fairness, Puppypaw on the Malians isn't the one that has to worry as much about sheep in this game. Vortix on the Jeanne d'Arc might have to, though. We hop into Rocky River. We are drawn up 2-2 in this best of 7, potentially 3 more games ahead of us. One thing's for sure, though, by the end of this one, someone will be leading.
It's crazy. I'm just looking at the map, and I just have to comment. It's crazy that there's an 8K like in Vortex's base. Like,
What?
that's just like there. Like, look how close that is. Sorry, to the left. It's like basically
I
his
mean-
base.
I mean,
it's
like-
a mid. That's so close. Look at the other one. Like the big mine. We're talking
In
about the
his
big mine.
base might, yeah. He's talking about really on the edge here. Like in his base
That's
might be
so
a
safe.
slight reach there.
That's okay. Fine. Okay. Compare that to
but
Puppy's
yeah,
map.
compare it to Puppypaw's 100%. Like this is the Malian nerf.
He's got four. He's got 4 gold mines on one screen, or 1.5 screens. If we're
He's
being
playing French. He needs them, man. Like we
Yeah.
gotta call a guy out like this. He doesn't have
imagine
infinite
Malians with
gold.
this map, like, right?
I mean, in
Imagine
fairness,
if
like
it was reversed, like it'd be so insane.
then it would be GG, right? But like in fairness, this is a kind of weird one in that like Puppypaw, you know I said you get too close by golds. He did get them. Unfortunately, they are both spawning forward. I think actually statistically about 80% of Rocky River spawns have been putting golds ahead of their base and usually the stones behind. So this is kind of the consistent pattern here. It's going to mean that Puppypaw is going to have to defend these investments. He can't just reap the rewards and go for a cheesy Fulani.
Yeah. This is gonna have to be interesting because, like, I've just been thinking more about it, and like the games that I've seen between these two civs, right? Which maybe isn't as much as some people, but what I've seen, like, it seems like you have to get really, really good, like, what's it called?
Luck?
Ability usage out
Oh.
of the Jeanne d'Arc to like win the fights, because like Donzo Jav is just so well rounded, right? And then on top of that, the Knight Archer for Jeanne d'Arc is a bit behind, like schedule, right, compared to normal French, because you just lack a little bit of that tempo right away. You have Jeanne obviously as like the power, but like you know what I mean. It's just weird, right? Like, and if How wrecked does Jean actually get from Jav? Is it like really bad?
I mean, it's really bad. You
Eh,
have, what was it, 3 ranged armor, if I remember correctly? Actually, it might be 2.
yeah. I mean,
And
at tier 3, you'd be fine, right? But yeah, at
I
tier
mean,
2, you're
sure,
just gonna get dunked.
that's like you're playing some
Yeah.
Dota 2 last night. That's like saying, oh, when I'm level 25 with 6 items as Juggernaut, I'm fine. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
but that's not how the game works. We got an early and mid game to worry about here.
I know that's on the. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, I know, but this is what I meant about
I'm
why it's a bad
just
matchup.
saying.
Because the thing about Javelin's like, you've seen archers get a decent mass together and snipe out level 2 Jean, right? It's easier for javelins. It's easier for longbows, right? Because they have higher base damage. So that's the scary element for her. That's why I was saying I wouldn't be surprised if Vortix makes this some sort of fast castle game when he realizes that it's going to be Donzo Jav mass.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, was that 16 sheep for Vortex that I counted? Of course. All right, so we need to, we got those stat cards. We need to start giving them like nicknames. I think we're just gonna call Vortex the Sheep Whisperer.
Wow, that'd be so cool. Or is it Puppypaw being the sheep repelling?
Yeah, we just call him. We just give him the title Repel. We don't really explain it more than that. But if you were there, you know.
Yeah, if you're there, yeah, if you know, you know. Yeah, so the first night on the field, circling around looking for those pit mine builders. That pit mine on the right gonna have to be idle for a bit. Not idle, but unbuilt for just a bit longer. The Donso on the way, though. So gonna be able to protect the southern pit mine investment and going to stone. So kind of that delayed TC build. We've seen this a bit from Jean. It's not quite a TC rush, but this is like kind of a classic French build order as well, where you just get a couple nights out, then transition to TC once you kind of have some knowledge about how the game's going.
It's a good map for it as well, actually. Like, it kind of gets underrated, this idea of dropping TCs near the ponds, but you get the shoreline fishing rate, which is insanely high. Also, there's a lot of food that spawns around those ponds. You can already see on the mini-map, there's a lot of deer, there's a lot of boar, there's a lot of sheep. Use a lot of sheep. There's a lot of berries. So pretty much all the food tends to gravitate towards the center of the map. So wouldn't be surprised if he goes as deep as like where the boar is for the second TC.
Yeah, and we're already getting some walls up on the left.
Oh, wait. Oh, Vortex. That's unfortunate.
Whispering?
Because he went for the first spore instead of the second. Now, it sounds nitpicky, but here's the thing. If Vortex went for the second ball first and then lap back for this one, he'd be here when he was coming out to build a TC, which means he'd give the build speed aura while also getting the XP.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
I've seen one or two players do it.
Is that how the timing really works for this build?
It can, yeah, we'll look at his resources now. He just killed the first ball, right? Yeah. And then he has to walk out.
Come back either way, right?
But now you're going to run off the ball, right? So the timing might be skewed. By the time you come to give the build aura, you're already half done. So like for maximum efficiency, you want to kind of like wrap wide, come back. I think this is something that Jean players are going to get better and better at doing, is optimizing their path through the map for like multi-TC players. So looks like Sean is going to be running for the high heels there. Couldn't get the second ball. Maybe that's part of the reason he didn't want to go for it, is he was aware that this was going to be Donzo's, didn't want to risk getting caught while he was attacking Pumbaa. He almost dies on the retreat at this point.
Yeah, and they're still taking a bit for that next night to come out. The third night has been not produced for a while, and now the Vill's going to take some damage here. Does get the pull. Wheelbarrow is in, so he will retreat. No throw. One spear gets chucked, and that will keep him alive. If that was the second, it would have been rough. But here we have it. We should have heal in a second as well. I believe.
Keep in mind, Donzo are better against that cleave, by the way, because they have more effective HP, so they can tank a bit longer. But it's like, John, she's being boxed in. A little bit of XP is going her way, but that is getting the room for Puppypaw to now build that second pit mine.
Well, notably there, the micro for Vortex was a bit weak. Like, it wasn't terrible. It was just like there was a point where he didn't micro that night away. It like kind of looped around the spears again, and it took a lot of extra hits. So Vortex probably not super happy with how that engagement went. I think he was expecting to keep one of those knights alive.
This is kind of annoying where you'd rather have Jean standing near that TC right now, but if you move there, Puppypaw's going to chase you, right? So then he'll see you building a TC. Because that is going up to the north of this from Vortex. He did smuggle it onto the deer stack.
Just one deer stack, right? So it's a pretty like exposed town center. Like, it looks sad, but I'm sure it's fine.
Oh yeah, he's got
There's a lot of
he's got
deer.
loads of deer to the side. It's like really deceptive. If you shift left, it's good. But if you only
In
can
the
go
middle
left.
of the map, right?
It makes you kind of predictable, right? Like Puppypaw looks at that and he goes, well, he's definitely not going to build his eco to the right of this. Like, so if I could just sit on this pond, he can't do anything.
Yeah, it's interesting that it was Sofa Donso, right? We talked a lot about Donso Jav, but Sofa's as the opener just to keep the pressures up. I kind of like it from Puppypaw. This is pretty interesting.
Yeah, you
Honest.
wouldn't expect it, but I guess the difference is like if you have Donzos, you always get outpaced. So there's always like even John could just run around you and just go somewhere else. But Sofas, they give you that ability to kind of
Yeah.
mirror the movement of the knights.
Yeah, and chase John back to base and stuff like you were saying. It contested the boars. Like maybe I think he added another scout or two as well. I think they're dead now, but I think he added scouts that maybe helped hunt down some wolves early.
They
well.
also they do get the bonus damage against Jean, right? Because she's infantry class. So what you're doing there is you're almost offsetting the entirety of the melee armor that Jean comes with.
That's interesting, yeah. So a lot of answers for Jean, I guess, with Malians, right? And
Especially
now
the jabs as well.
Start coming out. Just as
Yeah,
the
and
archers start coming out, so it's like good timing, and the cattle boom coming in too. Dang. Puppypaw's looking good here, I'd say.
Yeah, tough part as well for Vortex is because he went for these two TCs. He hasn't got a blacksmith, right? So he hasn't. He realistically in this type of game, you need to be rushing undermesh because you have to remember the Donzos, the javelins they throw, they hit for range damage. So being a bit more squishy on John could mean that first flurry of jabs and spears that come in just instantly wipes her.
Yeah, the numbers just aren't there yet for Vortex, right? This TC coming up kind of at that crucial time where you're either going to hit a mass timing or not for like these early raids to have a ton of impact before, the walls are up, before, multiple outposts get built, and before the Donso count gets really, really high. And then once the Donso count gets high enough, then it just becomes really hard to engage with the knights in a clean way. You need a ton of knights, you need a ton of archers, and not seeing the economy just yet there for Vortex, but he will start pulling ahead a bit in Vil count.
He
It's
kind
just
of
gonna
has
take
to.
some time.
Like we've got 2 pit mines, right? Then we've got the Mansa. So like realistically, Puppypaw has got how many extra villages? I want to say it's like 6 or 7 at this stage in terms of
Like 8.
passive eco.
A full
I
pit mine.
He hasn't got a full pit mine on the second.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
No.
Okay, maybe it's a bit lower, yeah.
But still, it does kind of put the ball in Vortex's way that, you need to kick it back to me. You need to do something to force me off my game plan because this isn't French. Like, it's so important to emphasize that. And what I mean by that is you do not have the faster production out of these TCs. So while it is an eco lead building, it doesn't snowball as quickly as standard French play.
Yeah, only 3-vil lead for now. Obviously, the raids that Puppy did early didn't lead to kills, but just some idle time.
Turn coming in.
The Knight Charge coming in right into the Spearman. Does
Ooh,
try to pull back. Gets the big AoE attack, but not enough to kill those Donsos, like you said. But the archers behind this are going to be enough. There's not enough javelins to stay in the fight. He's going to have to kite this back and focus down the archers one at a time, and there's just not enough. The Knights are going to pull back here. Okay, I was wondering if maybe he would... Ooh!
That's what I was waiting for. So,
yeah, but in between this, Jean can just heal up. So it's like, if you're not killing her, like...
yes, but...
it's rough.
But the problem there, like why that looked like a good fight for Vortex, is Puppypaw kind of jumped the gun, right? Like you can tell he went a wave too early. If he had those extra jabs and Jean dives in, even with the Divine Restoration, you do not feel comfortable taking that fight as blue. But
yeah,
instead, Puppypaw, he set himself up. He's insulating. How many ranches is that now? I think that was it 5 he's up to?
It's a lot. This is starting to get overwhelming for Vortex's economic situation. He just does not have the passive incomes that Puppy has, and Jean has, like, as we saw in that fight, Jean did not contribute enough there to really win it yet. So we'll see if the timing's there for him. Gonna pull back now.
Oh, there's the blacksmiths. The timing on this sucks for Vortex as well. And he actually prioritized Steeled Arrow. So now, if he takes another fight against Puppypaw's army, like Vortex is gonna lose Jean. Because when that Steeled Arrow is in with this many jabs, plus the Donzo hurls, dead.
Yeah.
Sometimes, usually in this type of position, like Vortex, on Jean, you might think, okay, let's go castle. But I think this is the thing that always makes the Malians so uncomfortable to play against with this playstyle, is if you try to go castle age, they're just going to keep scaling army and they'll dive you when you complete that castle age up. And for Jean, the value in castle age is then capturing sacred sites. So if you want to get that level 3, you still need about a minute after you go CA, which Puppypaw wouldn't give you in this type of game.
Yeah, and we're nearing the point where Puppy can just camp and go castle soon. Like he's got all of his situation. He knows what Vortex has. Like I'm pretty sure he's aware of both TCs, right? He knows that it's not like 3 TC, right? He scouted the stone quite a lot. So if he just goes castle, it's gonna force a dive from Jean. And Jean has not gotten a lot of XP, so she's probably pretty far from tier 3, right? It's probably gonna be another couple minutes.
I think like on passive XP with a little bit of fighting, you can get it by like, was it 15 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't think we're too far off.
Yeah, but only one boar. I don't know if he got many.
That's true, actually. I don't think he got many wolves, so probably like 16 or 17. Like, okay, so no, there's the bar. You see the bar in the bottom
like
left?
4/5. So it's
So,
actually
yeah,
quite
it's-
close. It'll be like another 2 minutes.
It's 150 XP. Okay, yeah.
2 minutes, maybe 3. Well, yeah, we'll
I'd
see.
say like
It's a late
17
timing.
or 18.
Unless
yeah,
he forces the fight. Unless he forces the fight, but
Yeah, but if you force the fight, you're going to die. Look what's coming. It's the Grand Fulani. So now, Puppypaw, if he runs in with level 3 javelins, you will not see a level 3 John. You will see a dead level 2 John.
yeah. Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting. This fight, he's gonna be met with a nasty surprise, although he has to expect it, right? I'm pretty sure Vortex is moving forward like this because he's aware of the timing. Like, oh, you've been back up for this long, you're Malians, I know what the timings are. So he's gonna fight before the upgrades come in. But that's a lot of units for Malians, right? That's
Yeah,
a lot of units. And the upgrades are really fast for Malians as well. So this window's gone, right? It's gone. And now you have to retreat, now you have to play defense so you don't lose.
He needs 2 minutes as well. And I think Puppypaw should know this timing, right? Like,
Maybe.
it's tough as well because if half the army is Donzo and you don't have enough to protect Jean, she has to commit. She's still going to just die when she goes level 3 because max spears, right? So tough one here. Puppypaw fighting this time though. Doesn't feel a need to rush out here. Probably the correct approach, right? But Vortex, look at what it's giving him. He gets the resources together. 25 villagers rushing that guild hall. Now, this is interesting because this means he'll be able to capture sacred sites, which is going to draw Puppypaw's attention.
Yeah, Jean can capture it for experience too, so that'll help him get tier 3.
Oh, dude, this is kind of tough. Like, I don't know, maybe it's bug, maybe I just haven't noticed this, and some that I don't know, but Jean has a build aura, and yet Vortex hasn't ran her over there to speed up this process. I mean, it is a notable amount quicker, right? It's 33% faster.
Mm-hmm.
But
it looks like he's planning a man-at-arms switch, right?
Yeah, it's standard play right now for Jean d'Arc. They love spamming men-at-arms, and it's pretty cool because you think it's bad against Malians due to the Musafadi, but you have to have built Musafadi. Yeah, well, you have to have built them as well, right? And he's harding on Donzos.
So Knight, Archer, Spear techs all coming in, and Man-at-Arms being produced probably pretty soon with the next wave of gold. Interesting.
It's interesting as well because it's kind of important to highlight why you're seeing Men-at-Arms being spammed by Jean so much, and it's because of the Divine Restoration heal. Divine Restoration, the way it works is it's 30% of missing health. So really, you want to be building units that have effective HP, right? So they can either have really, really fat health balls, or they have a lot of armor with a medium to large health pool. And Men-at-Arms tick that box. Sure, French Knights will be better, but they're going to be double the price, which makes them a bit more awkward to kind of spam in this death push.
Yeah, we have some calm before the storm right now, as both players just content to building. Puppypaw maybe resting on his laurels a bit. This is kind of reminiscent of, what's it? The Four Lakes game where Vortex had both 8Ks, and he just kind of camped for a bit, and it's like, giving Vortex time. He does have 2 TC, so the Vil lead is growing. Keep in mind, Puppypaw obviously has tons of passive incomes right now with the full Fulani and like 2 lines, but in fact, catching the Vils maybe? No, he's just going to retreat. He sees the massive army. He's going to need mangonels, right?
Yeah, and also interesting enough, actually, like despite how strong Puppypaw's eco is, he hasn't got the level 2 eco upgrade yet, which is a big deal, right? Because it does affect the ranches.
He's going to go imp.
Well, it's surprising because even if you want to go imp, I'm pretty sure getting the level 2 food gathering upgrade is worth it with Fulani, right? Because it's a really big increase. So kind of surprised that didn't get
the Fulani itself, but it does impact all the cattle.
The ranches,
right?
yeah.
Good,
sorry, that's the cows, yeah.
I mean, you have the investment, right? So it's a really good tech, right? It's 15% more food income.
Yeah, and it's not too expensive. I think it's like, is it 350-ish, I think? It's around there.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's 350, I think, for 2-2. So he has enough res, I think, if he just idled to go in, but maybe that'd be too bold. But like a Fortress of the Huntress, like right on the front here, like what does Jean do? Like just waits. It's interesting.
to-
This passive play makes so much sense when you're playing against Jean. She's still tier 2, right? She's still tier 2.
Yeah, she should be up
Getting
in
a
about
Sacred
30
Sight would've-
seconds.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't make a move for that Sacred Side. Like, maybe you even go wide, but one of the tough parts in this type of game is because the Malian army is so big, if you send Jean all the way to the right Sacred Site, Puppypaw will just dive your main army. And then you don't get that argument of, oh, we lost even units, but I got XP. You just lost units. So kind of a tough position here, really, with the way that Puppypaw has played this game. And a lot of the Wolves going up just to make sure there's no shenanigans out of the Knights onto the eco means that he can just focus his entire army forward to this position. And it looks like it's going to be a full investment up to 200 before we even consider the idea of Imperial Age, which I really like this approach from Puppypaw. Looks like, John, is she up yet? No, she's still... There's so many horses around her. For a second, it looked like she was on horseback.
You can tell, a good way to tell what level Jean is if you look at the top bar here on Cap Trade, because it has all the units. It'll turn into a horse when she levels up. You can also tell which one she picked by which unit she spawns immediately. And it was.
And it's going to be the champions. Yeah,
it's just a great choice against this many Danso, right? They have that bonus versus spears, and there's no crossbows for Malians, so why would you go the rider, right?
100%.
Poison arrows in.
Uh-oh.
John gonna be pretty good at tanking some of this damage, though.
That was a lot of damage considering her reduction. Like, it just shows you how many javelins are being hurled her way here.
Well, yeah, that was the Danso with the bonus versus Cav, right? They did a volley there.
Archers, though. Archers sending out their volleys. Dansos now go for the engagement. The clash comes out. Looks like a wrap on the side by Jean with the cleave. The pushback continues. Puppypaw, though, he does have huge military mass advantage. 120 to 100. Vortix, of course, he's got Jean, so you must add in 100 more there. But looks like for the time being, his goal is going to be starting to idle out that eco. Moves onto the goal line here. Puppypaw quick with a pull away, but still loses 2 villages for his troubles. Needs to be careful about this. Now, level 4 is a long way off. Taking a fight shouldn't be something that Puppypaw shies away from here. He can't afford to be given over the front of his base like this. So I think he's just waiting until he's got that 200 pop and then looking to go. He understands that Vortex being on 2 TC means he has less military population when they both get maxed out.
Yeah, but at the same time, Vortex's army is pretty scary here. The army value is very close, even though Puppypaw has, 30 more units. And a lot of that is because it's a lot of men-at-arms and knights, which are very expensive, chunky units against a lot of archers and spearmen here. There's a good chunk of jabs, which have a decent cost to them, but...
Sofa's being added in. This is actually interesting, like the Sofa play, like if you can get up to about 20, even though it's up against spears, it looks really good here because Vortex has gone into Arbitrary. Yes, Sofa's a heavily armored unit, but also I think the issue for Vortex is he went Arbitrary because he wants to be able to just stand there and hit the Pavis and then not lose his range units too quickly to jab. So it does kind of force him out of that position. Now, one thing I would love to see is Vortex, has he switched the guild hall onto stone? Because an eventual play if this game goes late enough is to spam Jean's champions. Like Jean's champions with the aura increase into late game are heretical. They are insanely powerful. Like the extra health, the extra damage. If the game does go late enough, a big Jean army will win it.
Yeah,
And by a big Jean army, I mean those champions, by the way.
Yeah,
not
a big army of the companions, right? Yeah, it could be nuts here. Let's see though, both players nearing max. Well, they're at max effectively, right? So it's going to be about if we take a big fight, because if the armies get traded and Jean stays alive, it's bad for Puppy, right? Just because experience at this stage would be insane. So I think going Imp is the right play. I don't know what you go Imp with.
So with Vortex is easy, right? It's going to be Red Palace. Puppypaw.
This Puppy, yeah. I think you do Huntress, right? On the front
I think it's
here.
Huntress, yeah.
Because like shut this down.
Grill Bar is kind of cool for the food, but you're never going to use it for the siege, because like if you try to torch rush down Red Palaces, that usually doesn't end well. Like if you can do that, you've already won the game. So there you go. Fort the Huntress being built.
Where?
At the back of his base, right? Yeah, there we go. Like, yeah, right in there. So I think Vortex might have seen that.
I'm not sure.
It's so hard to engage even if you
just
have.
Wants to engage because every unit that dies is more XP. Mangonel's on the field though. Whoop. Spread formation coming in from Puppy. Only a couple units getting hit. Jean running under the fortress.
Upgrades haven't been queued yet. Jean almost goes down the poison. Gets her. She's out. And now he's willing to commit to the fight. Puppypaw doesn't have to be shy anymore. He just needs to commit everything. But Dive's coming in. Melee reaching into the economy. Meanwhile, Sofa Raid is going to backstab into the farms of Vortix here. And the Huntress is good enough to defend this because this is mass ranged. Vortix has to leave.
And the Mangonel stays alive as well, which is huge. Or a new one. I actually missed if it died or not. It's kind of in the back of the fight. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like Vortex, if he knew that Jean could capture... I feel like he doesn't know that Jean can capture Sacred Sites. I'm going to nitpick on this just for a moment because it's a
fair.
big deal. That would have been another 100 experience for Jean.
Well, if he
and I
captures
feel like
you,
that would
right,
have been just much faster and earlier, right?
Yes.
And gold
It's the whole
now. He would
reason
have the
why
gold.
against passive play with Jean, you should go Castle Age. Because on a standard map, that's 150 XP if you capture each of them. And the funny part about Sacred Sites and the way they work for Jean is if your opponent decaps them, then you can take them again for more XP. It's kind of hilarious. Or broken, depending on your perspective. Like I know it's an uncomfortable experience for some, but definitely someone we haven't seen min-max yet. Red Pass does go up, so that's going to reset things. Puppypaw is going to have to take it a wee bit slower.
Yeah, but those raids from Puppy. So meanwhile, during that entire engagement, there were a lot of raids going on from Puppy. He found like a mill on the north. He found the mill on the left. He found the farms. He found I think a gold mine as well for a brief moment. Our observer did a great job. Vodka did a great job pointing all that out. While we focused mainly on the fight there, but both players being imp now. What's the next play here for Vortex, KP?
I think he needs to wall. Like this. You mentioned the Four Legs game, and this is having that same feeling, isn't it? Right? And what went wrong on Four Legs? He didn't wall his flanks. Look at the map. Look at the difference between these two players' playstyles right now. Puppypaw, he's building Takeshi's castle. Vortix, he might as well be playing Mongols.
Yeah, in fact, he just plays Stonewall in the middle of the map too, though. That's interesting. Thinking that he can get that up, but
from this
both
position,
players-
unlikely.
both players 40 pop from the next click, and we could start seeing the switch to companions being trained from the keeps. Although generally, it's better to wait until you have consecrate charges on those keeps because the champions are 200 res. Same with the rider, and so getting that fat discount is really nice.
But they are worth the price of admission. Like these units, folks, I mean, we mentioned the bonus damage against spears, aka the Donzos, but the other thing is they have one less armor than standard men at arms, but if you have Jean nearby, they get +1/+1, so that's negated. But then when Jean's nearby, they get, I think it's 10% more damage, which scales insanely well when you're up to like 20+ melee damage in this late game.
Is there a raid going up to the AK in the north with no defense for the village in the north?
There might be. That wall is being built. In fact, the timing on this, it's going to be spearmen only in a few arbitrary.
I was like, oh, this raid could be really big. And it's like, oh. I mean, it's still annoying, right? But if he's not even going to the AK.
Oh. Wait, but funnily enough, he's going to find the berries, right? Which isn't even intentional. Look at the reaction out of Puppypaw as well. Sends
The
2/3
entire
of the army.
Everybody,
Like, hold on a second.
You must defend the wall. Well, it could be that the entire army of Vortex comes behind and sees that exposed location. And I think there are a lot of vills in the north corner.
There is. There's about, I'd say, 30, 35 between the berries and the gold. Yeah, 25 there, and then I think there's 10 to 15 on the berries.
Yeah, that's a
Maybe
lot.
16.
That is a lot.
However, these guys decided to try for the hardest thing in the neighborhood. And they didn't even get it. Are we getting a horseman switch here? Yeah. Vortex is going to mass horseman now. Pretty cool read there. Like,
does he know about the AK? He must.
I mean, he would have scouted it, right?
I think
like,
he wants
surely.
them just because
he knows.
It's a smarter way to spend the resources, right?
Yeah, the interesting thing in this game, actually, like Vortex, with this horseman switch, I think for Jean, specifically, more than the French, Castle Age is all about men-at-arms spam. But funnily enough, he's got the right read. When you go into Imperial Age, you want to switch off of men-at-arms. Like the horsemen, once you're able to get into the royal bloodlines, are a much more efficient trader.
I love the way that Stonewall looks between the berries.
It's so janky, man. Like, can you imagine like the real
siege towering on top of that?
No, I was thinking more the guys run up like, oh no, we can't get through here. There's a berry push.
I mean,
our plans are ruined by this berry push.
We've been foiled.
Step over the berry bush. No, I might get pricked by the branches. Let's wait it out. Someone bring a trebuchet up here.
They're poison berries. That's why soldiers are too afraid. Yeah.
So explain to me why we're eating them. All right.
Moving on.
I do love
Big
how the
raid
AFK
moving
Jean
around.
is getting XP, by the way. Vortex doesn't seem to have realized that she's just sitting here. This is
She
Mongol Khan
respawned.
experiences all over again.
There's a lot going on, man. It's hard to keep
There
track
is.
of everything. There's a big army on the right side of the base as well. It's a lot of horsemen. Or sorry, Sofa.
So nice torches. Molotov cocktails. Malians just got buffed. Oh, I love that bug.
Sending the archers to go defend. The horseman raid going deep though.
How on
What's
like
it gonna
wait?
do though? There's nothing to raid there.
Well, the crazy
Oh.
part is that wall never got built, and check this out, taking out the relic goal generation. Annoying detail there for Vortex, and also distracted because this wrap of infantry did find their way onto the back goal. So
Where's his
Vortex, I'm really not sure at this point. Like
Where are his
honest to
units?
God, like where is everything? Where is Jean? Is she still at the TC? You have an army to lead. Come on. I think what makes it worse, Winston, is that he has moved her.
He stole a relic. Okay, no, he does. He does. The heist.
There's no way. There's no way.
Puppypaw. Baby. Oh, no, he's gonna run into the TC with the arbalist.
Yep.
The TC arbalist snipes him.
Red Palace is
He was
the only
like-
defense you need.
And I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you and you conniving kids. You know.
Would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that oversized crossbow bolt heading for my face. Yeah.
That's
The
the
walls
thing
are now
about
gonna go
crossbow
up.
bolts, you don't see them coming.
Unless you've got some prescription wear. The village account, by the way, Vortex isn't losing too many, right? Like Puppypaw, that
Jean?
raid hit hard. Wait, what just happened? Did she just spawn them and wait?
Yeah. So another horseman raid is going in. The wall is built. There's bombards on the front here too.
Horseman raid
don't-
again.
What is Vortex? His army doing?
But this wall, like, I mean, on both sides, right? Because Puppypaw, that wall has still not been built this entire time. This is the second time these horsemen came in here. The wall blueprint for that went down like 3 or 4 minutes ago. It's never
Yeah.
been built.
Yeah, but I
And
don't
once
think
again,
he's only on 66 real vills. He's adding trade.
that's all the more reason to care.
Yeah. He has 76. Puppy has 76 wood in the bank and like no
Oh,
vills
John's working now. She's back from her holiday.
I mean, experience coming in is a big deal.
It's crazy to think if when these raids came in, if Jean was there to hoover up the XP, like we'd probably be talking about almost level 4 now, right? Instead, I feel like she's probably halfway through level 3, if that.
Bombard looks like it's ready to just shoot the sacred site. It's like UNESCO is just like outraged.
This is what I think about the religion. Load the cannons.
Oh gosh.
Horsemen are going in again, by the way. And I think they're just going to walk... Wait, did they A-click? Wait, it's Arch... Oh my god, this is the 3rd time now. Now, at least Puppypaw, he has got the army here to meet them. So this horseman contingent shouldn't really do much damage. But that is now 3 times that he's gone down the same route. 3 times it has not been walled off.
Yeah, and he's just buying himself some time for his main force to shore up his defenses. I think he's finally stonewalled the left, so the raid should be a lot less problematic. Can we look at the stonewalls for Vortex? They're along like the lakes. Yeah, is it built now? That's built. That's built.
Yeah, but north
The
side.
right
So
built.
the north side is the only opening there where you'd have to go through the
relic
red
wall.
Wait, really? Wait, he hasn't. Has he? He's rebuilt the monastery, right? I think he just doesn't see this relic.
If you yoink that, you could go in the enemy's base. Isn't that hilarious?
And the best part is what you do is you let your troops in and then drop the relic there again. Boom.
Oh man.
Like a secret little pass. That's a lot of archers from Puppypaw now. I wonder if Vortex considers going mangoes. If you want to make that type of play, you have to kind of be quick. One thing I have noticed with Rocky River, this late game, wood dries up fast.
Yeah, with the small wood lines, they kind of spawn in this like pattern along the map, and if you lose access to even half of them, it's like there's so little wood that like losing access to them is really problematic. You can see Puppypaw prioritized actually having access to his wood lines. He knew, and the golds obviously, right, and the trade line now, but you can tell he really wanted to make sure that he had that.
Knock knock.
Although his trade is riskily positioned. Oh.
I wonder if Vortex is going to try to trade as well. Like the cool thing about the French is you never run out of resources, right? Because you can just choose wood, food, or gold. So it's a beautiful thing about this Civ in the hyper late game. Awesome Ray discovers that trade is going on. He's going to start burning down some houses. Funny detail here. You've seen that correctly. Is that the consecration tech? Has he only now just gone for the upgrade of it? Vortex is on the right there.
Yeah, that is.
Wow. So this is surprising. If he's been pumping out horsemen, knights, up the tree, he's only been getting the food discount this entire time. Not only that, look above those techs. Vortex hasn't got any of his big eco upgrades.
Yeah, it's kind of alarming that he doesn't even have the food upgrade, right? Like, how's he?
That's usually the one everyone gets, right? Like that's always high. Hey, there we go.
There
He's
it is.
with us.
There it is. You
No,
just speak your mind and change happens. You know, look what you can accomplish.
Vortex, turn off the stream now, kid. The interesting thing actually is like he's been fighting back against Puppypaw. The reason why I highlight that, if he just like doubles up, even just 2 layers of this food eco, I think he's going to have enough horsemen to break Puppypaw.
So this is a bit silly, but can we check? Did he patch the wall after grabbing the relic? We saw him get the relic. No. So he got the relic and put it in the monastery, but
In fairness, though, you're never running through there.
you never know.
I mean, there's a discount Red Palace right next to it.
True. A Rebaldican actually coming out against 72 archers. And a Culverin Civ. Yeah, Rebald is kind of a risky choice here, in my opinion. I mean, I guess if you keep it way in the back, maybe it can be good, but Puppy is mostly running ranged units, right? So it's going to be tricky to get value out of that. I mean, maybe one or two volleys onto the sofas would help win the fight.
I think the weird part is, like, we imagine Vortex would eventually go mangoes because of all these archers. Puppypaw is now building the counter because he's worried about that, right, with the Culverin play. But as you're Harlan, the irony is he's going to get to counter something else that kind of feels out of place in this comp. By the way,
sometimes Rebalds can be sneaky. Like if you don't notice them, or if it's like camping the Red Palace, for example, like it can be really tricky to kill it, and then suddenly it's a lot of damage.
Nah, see the problem with that, Winston, is he's the southern player. If he was the northern player, he'd be able to hide behind the keep with the Rebaldican. Wouldn't see it coming. You know what we say about shots, about guns? Never see them coming.
Like that. What about this?
Wait, is that a gap? Okay, no. For a second, it genuinely... You see that little piece of, like, lit palisade? I was like, no way.
Huh? Do you see that one coming? Okay.
No, there's a wall in the way. Like, we're just kind of blindly shooting over the top of it, sir. Looks like they are getting played up.
Boy, that was a rough time. Maybe he just wanted to trade out the archers for more valuable army at this stage.
Maybe it's a bait.
There's not a lot of spears, so he just like wants to get value from these somewhere. Like I think that might have honestly been the case. He's not queuing up more. He's queuing up more artillery.
Sure, moving in. Mangonel coming out. Stag formation to break away there. Vortex has to retreat. Now, you might be worried about that gap in the wall to the right of this fight, but don't worry, folks. Puppypaw's not going to go through there. There's only one civilization that would queue to go through a gap that small, and it's the English. We do like our queues.
Oh, that took me a minute. I was like, what are you talking about? All right, and let's see the army here for Puppypaw. He's maxed out. Vortex is maxed out. Chemistry on the way as well for these cannons. So the cannon's going to start to get scary, but with Culverins on the field, it's hard to imagine they're going to get a lot of value unless you win a fight decisively. And we could be closer to Tier 4 Jean, actually, after all of this. The passive income, the sacred site right in front of Jean, stuff like that. It could start to be close to Tier 4, at which point you have to worry about maybe does he go for free cannon, or does he go for a lot of free champions this game?
I think this game, like,
I think you want Valorous Inspiration.
Yeah, you want Valorous Inspiration. Like, the only reason you want to go for the alternative where you bulk up one unit is when you've got, like, the champion Night Boy, right? That's when it feels good.
Yeah, I think here you want Valorous Inspiration with all the Arbalists. It's extremely potent. It basically wins a fight. Yeah. It's a lot of attack speed.
It works for the Arbalists, but also works for the Horsemen, which actually turns them into a decent, like, constant fighting unit. Because one issue of Horsemen is, like, you know, they're just meant to be a front line. Their attack speed is low. So they don't really serve the purpose of mincing down their opponents. But folks, you're getting confused. This is not Randy the Robotiquin. This is his brother, Robert. Robert can farm a lot of XP. However, Robert is dead.
Yeah.
How much XP? Like, he must be close. There's just so many units dying on both sides now.
It could just be that she's ready to 8 level and he just hasn't, but probably not. It's 800 required, and it's been a very passive game. Puppy kind of playing in like kind of the theoretical sense against this, where it's like, oh yeah, just don't give Jean XP and you win, but you also don't win yourself. Like, it's weird, right? A lot of
You're
poison
stuck in a
arrows
40-minute
on
game
Jean, and I don't
versus
think
this
her damage
point.
reduction works against the poison arrows, so she's slowly
Wait.
ticking down there and just dies to the poison.
And hold on a sec, but Keeper's going up to the north side of this as well. There's no quick way of taking that down. So Vortex is going to get a defense up here. Army's now reacting. Maybe Puppypaw can stop this in time. Meanwhile, the Arbitrary now coming for the counterattack. Mangonel hit deep into that line, so heavy damage done there. Castle looks like it should be going up because one of the sofas is busy drifting through life instead of attacking. But this castle, with the Arbalest emplacements in there, Puppypaw may have to consider retreating because he doesn't have anything to kill it.
Oh, the keep just barely goes up. There's only like 3 vills left on that. The Culverins maybe could have focused the vills there. Jean actually got bought back by Vortex, and she is tier 4 now.
Oh, baby.
And so the next engagement with Arbalest is going to be very terrifying. We could see...
Oh.
I don't know what her cooldowns are right now. Can we click on Jean here?
Well, they reset when she dies. So, yeah, so there you go. So, Divine Restoration, but we'll have the
A
others.
lot of charges here. She picked the cannon.
Yeah, she picked the
yeah, for
Valor's Restoration,
Valor's.
right?
Valor's,
Plus the cannon.
yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to get, instead of getting 7 units, you get 3 of them plus the cannon, right?
Yeah.
A good choice here actually as well, considering like food and gold is more easily like eternal compared to wood.
Although
which
French
tends to
could
run
just
out.
trade for wood, right? On this
Yes, that's true. But I think like the funny thing is, I've talked about this before, I feel like a lot of players, even after years of playing the French, kind of forget that wood toggling is an option, right? It's one of those...
It's a lot of micro. It's a lot
Yeah.
of overhead. Mental overhead is a resource in RTS games, and like having to manually change all of them is quite demanding as a player. You can see the
Well,
wall
it's more like the
stuff.
feeling kind of like comparative to when you don't have wheelbarrow, right? Like if you didn't get in the first 10 minutes, it has that feeling with trade where it's like when you need wood, you might be 40 traders in, and then your first thought is to just buy wood with the gold, right? It's not to click on the traders because it's this Civ that does it, like others don't. So it was a bit of a weird one. But speaking of trade, Vortex is in. And Puppypaw out of position with a slow-moving army, so trade should get blocked here. The villagers get found as well. Vortex finds that Primarch. Now, this is very important considering their eco is more or less neck and neck on villager count, which means Puppypaw realistically is ahead with the Fulani. So a heavy hit there, one that's also going to draw the eye of Puppypaw. He has to choose to defend this or choose to let it go. And instead, I don't know if that was an A-click, but his entire army dove under the keep. What? I think that was an A-click move, right? That felt like an A-click where he just got aggroed. So market's going down. Good read by Vortex. I mean, you could kill the
just
traders,
took it
right?
out.
But
It just gets rebuilt because he knows he's going to have a clean crew coming in. This does idle the trade for quite some time. Of course, the ones that are running still work, right? So they're going to be grabbing taxes from the outposts along the way, and
so come in this side as well.
yeah, if
There is a force correction for that.
That outpost is really like short on that side. Even going to wall in the markets. He's like, enough of this, enough.
It's okay. Vortex will be back with Jean. She'll spawn a cannon. And then
He runs
we'll do
right
this
back
again.
in. What a loop!
Wait. He pulled them away with like 2 horsemen.
That was great micro.
Vortex is so good at this. Puppypaw realizes the mistakes made here. The market is going down again.
Yeah,
Oh, this is just brilliant.
What am I saying? The Musafati gunner count is actually getting quite high, and that's an
Yes.
interesting number.
This
keep an
hand
eye
cannoneer
on.
coming as well, though. Like that's an interesting thing. Is like Vortex is also getting into a premium army. We don't often see hand cannoneers from the French, but one
he has
delicacy of
Fortress
this.
Huntress.
Yes.
With the gunner, it's actually insane. If you just press Q before a fight, the gunner does like 90 damage. It's insane.
And
It does so much damage.
the keeps don't reveal concealed units either, right? So it's not like this Maginot line of the French is going to stop it.
Well, you don't even like need to like be invisible, right? You just need to press Q and you get
Gotcha, yeah.
You need to just go invisible for like a second, right? And then you just have the bonus damage for the next attack, right? So it's really potent if you use it correctly. It's gonna be pretty crazy here. That's how I remember it working. I could be a little bit wrong about that. Now that I think about it, but yeah, we'll see if he presses. If he goes invis on this, like you can snipe like cannons and stuff. You can kill rams. Like it's so much damage on them. Although you don't need that help when you have 3 Culves, but it's an interesting option here. So rams just slowly working away.
Yeah, just opening up wall off wall here. The interesting thing, like honestly, I'm wondering if Vortex is just going to make the choice to go trade. Like I'm very surprised he still hasn't. He's now out of gold, right? Like that's the last bit gone. So you know, he's been playing Horseman, but arbitrary and hand cannoneers is still a big part of his plan. Needs to set up trade if he thinks this game's going to go for longer than an extra 5 minutes.
But he's going to have to find a way to protect the trade. There's a lot of stone still available on that right side of the map, and I would say that Vortex currently has the map control to take that. So maybe he should focus that down real quick and just expand his stone walls, but it's hard to do that, right, in this setup. Puppypaw does have the 2 bombards out, so it feels like he always has some semi-lethal threat if your army's out of position.
I mean the trip culverin for Puppypaw, right? Yeah, it's
triple culverin and 2 bombard. 1 bombard died, so it's like it's a ton of threat, right? Like you don't win the slow siege battle against this as Vortex. You have to constantly take good fights, which means that these like protecting the edges of the map is going to require a lot of stone investment.
Which is why he's gathered on the stone in the center. I mean, if you get a few keeps up, those obelisk placements, it's quite difficult for Puppypaw to just dive, but just saying that's going to take a lot of time. Cleave coming in big on the flank there from Jean. Tanking a lot of damage here as well. Now, the Culverins, if the Culverins target Jean, she dies incredibly fast, by the way, because Culverins do siege damage. It's basically super effective against this unit, because Jean is classified as siege cavalry at this stage, but Puppypaw, he's just in full A click. That's kind of unfortunate. If he did just target her, she wouldn't be able to dive in like this. A good pushback. Look at the numbers now. That's a heavy hit into Puppypaw. Great fight out of Vortex, man. Honestly, I am shocked by that. I do kind of wonder if Puppypaw knows, if he just noticed that detail, because like the thing is, the reduction on damage to Jean is for ranged attacks, right? And Siege technically isn't range damage.
Yes. I don't know. Yeah.
Even if it gets reduced, we're talking about you get the bonus, which puts you up at like 200, right? So you still hit for 60. Unfortunate. Finally, the shots come in. There we go. It's 10-pin Jean. And that was needed, by the way. She was about to get another cleave round in. Horseman, meanwhile, they're back here again.
Yeah,
I feel like we've seen this before.
Back again.
Don't tell a friend. They might bring more Horsemen.
If this game devolves into a slug, though, sorry to speak over you there. If this game devolves into like just a full slug, like where both players are just shooting constantly, I think Puppypaw's gonna end up with an advantage, right?
He should. Yeah, because the goal.
He had much higher income, but at the same time, Vortex is saving 25% on each unit, right? Every single unit he's making is at this stage is going to be cheaper, right?
Also, has he used the guild hall recently? Because I feel like we haven't checked in there, and I've got a funny feeling. Oh, look at that! Ooh. Gold is not running out anytime soon for Vortex.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. The stonk's going up in there. They're just investing. They're just like, what war? we're in a war right now. We're busy, man. We're making mad stacks.
With the Medicis. I don't know why you guys speak French.
Yeah.
Ooh, lordy. Flash coming in. Jean, there's the Valorous Inspirations now going in for the charge. If she gets 1 cleave on these cannoneers, you're going to feel the sting. Gunner's in a bit of trouble here. Even cleaving, which does actually hit those siege weapons, hits them hard. Jean, is she trying to bait fire here? Looks like it. Will be forced away.
Doesn't want to.
Gotta be careful.
Hey, 2 culverins just hit her and they didn't deal any crazy damage.
Really?
Nah,
I've seen it hit hard before.
I feel like I would know that if it did bonus damage, but maybe I thought it hit her and it didn't. Maybe she was aiming something else.
Well, they're being hit by the gunners right now. The Culverins are most definitely not aiming at her. In fact, Jean is just running around, waving her hand, saying, "Look at me, look at me."
A lot of micro from Vortex to keep doing that. Like he's like actively clicking that path, right? It's like pretty crazy.
Because it's baiting fire, right? Like this is, you have to think of this as an effective tank unit. That's what it is. It's like if you're an Overwatch player, this is Reinhardt.
But it comes at a cost of attention, right? Like it might be baiting fire and like it forces the opponent to reroute like attacks, but like you as well are clicking this one unit a ton.
What if you just shift right click a bunch because you know she's going to live?
I mean, I think that's what he did there.
Yeah. So a few clicks, a lap around the neighborhood, and then back in we go with a new wave of horsemen. Gunner count has shrunk, right? Like, I think we were up to 40 before, now down to 28. Uh-oh. Cleave comes in. Mangonel's not looking good enough. The siege is going to be lost as well. Jean still alive. Finally, she'll go down. A heavy loss on the gun account, and Vortix does have what he needs to rebuy.
Yeah, I think he just bought her right back. Oh, man. This game is really interesting. This pressure point on the right seems to be where Puppypaw is having trouble reinforcing. He wants to keep the trade safe, but at the same time, all of his production buildings were kind of on the left, so he's had to like rebuild over here. The Fortress of the Huntress is pretty far away. A lot of his production structures are far away, and somehow Vortex is able to just keep up the pressure right through that opening that he opened up a long time ago.
Now, if Vortex sees those villages with the horsemen, instead of going off this trade right now, that's going to be like 20 more villages dead. Puppypaw will be under 50 eco if that happens. Right now, Vortex has a double eco situation in his favor. A lot of stone to work with as well, so we could see him actually starting to set up walls and go for trade soon. And it seems like Puppypaw is convinced when Jean comes onto the screen for the umptillionth time, he knows it's time to wave the white flag. Jean gets the win. Vortex now leads the series again. But we at least get one more game. We get another opportunity for Puppypaw to even it up. But this one, a wild game, Winston. Like, this didn't feel clean on either side. It felt messy.
Yeah, I was really thinking that Puppy had a big advantage at one point in Castle Age. He had a huge army. And it was like, okay, like, it's smart not to throw units into Jean. But at some point, if you want to win the game, you need to attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
At some point, it felt like he needed to build a lethal force and attack with it. And it felt like he sort of just let Vortex macro to late game. And then it's a late game against Vortex, right? You know, like, not saying Puppy's bad at late game, but like, do you really want to risk a late game against anyone, really? Especially with Jean, like, it's kind of unknown exactly how potent those abilities can be. Their cooldowns aren't exactly in your head, right? Exactly what she can do, exactly how many units you need to focus fire down. It's a lot of unknown still at this kind of nascent period of Jean in the game. Like, we can clearly see that it's strong, but like, how exactly do you counter it? In Imp, post-Imp, like, probably is going to take some time to figure out. So I wonder if maybe needing to recognize that he had a bigger opportunity there in the mid game than maybe he thought. But I don't know. Maybe I'm overstating that advantage as well. It seemed to me as if he had that advantage. It could not have even been there.
Yeah, I think, like, looking back at this game, one of the tough things, I think that Puppypaw has the right read, but like the layering of defenses isn't thick enough to justify it, right? Like, the trade, long term, it's going to be the right read. But I think what Vortex done really well in this game is he kept forcing these engagements in these uncomfortable positions. He kept finding those gaps. I think another thing to think about is back much earlier than this in this game. When we consider the first horseman raids, that front wood wall, if that had been up, we're probably talking about an extra 20, 30 villages later on in the game because of how many died across 3 raids there. I think that detail especially really hurt Wham's, Puppypaw's, sorry, scalability into that later phase of the game. Had he had that extra eco, considering how chaotic and broken up the next 5 to 10 minutes was on both sides, we might have been looking at a win for the Malians in the end, but can't take it away from him. Vortex in that late game, like you said, using the unknown against his opponent and coming out ahead, taking us into a map number 6 where we're going to be getting treated to Ayabids versus English.
Yeah, and Vortex is in striking range of that game 4, which would, secure the spot in the grand finals. So definitely going to be seeing how he takes this, takes on this Ayubids. I think, again, Ayubids, the Civ with the unknowns here, and English is so well explored, right? Like, I think every build order has been tried with English at this point, being the most played Civ across most of the game's history, right? Not always seen the most in tournaments, but it's never been, like, so bad that it can't be picked. And here it is against the Ayubids. And something we talk about a lot with the Desert Raiders is that one of their most confident counters is archers. And so longbows are going to just be excellent against these Desert Raiders in the early game. So we'll see if we've been seeing that reinforcement build earlier from Vortex. I don't think Puppy's going to do that. I think his own prep, wherever he's been practicing, has been not with the reinforcement wing and with other wings, maybe a more economic approach early game. So I think he might be trying something like that. Clearly, because we saw like he was so he definitely did not expect it. So maybe it wasn't even on his radar as something that's like super viable. So
I
we'll
think if
see.
you go reinforcement wing here against the English, you
You lose.
probably deserve to be losing 4-2, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
probably the worst civ to build raiders against. Because remember, folks, that the raiders are countered by range units. And English love longbows. They always go council hall, right?
Mhm.
So probably going to be a growth build into advancement here.
Yep.
It's more or less the meta choice. Trade wing, it's not hitting hard with the Bazaar play. I'd rather see people save trade for the ultra late game and actually go for the Atabegs instead, because that 20% increase in health is insane. But something that's interesting to think about here is that this matchup, Hybrids, there's still a lot unexplored. I'm really hoping that Puppypaw has something crafty in mind that we haven't seen before. Because one thing I want people to remember is that Vortix, one of his main civs used to be in English. I'd say about like, half a year to a year into the release of AoE 4, Vortix was a signature English player. It was his
Oh
strongest
yeah,
civ in competitive. He
I
was
remember that.
dominating with this civ. So
Yeah.
nothing but the A game from Puppypaw will do. Let's see if he's got it though. We hop into map number 6. See
Let's
if
get it.
Puppypaw can get us a full series.
I'm so excited. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. Oh man, English and Vil pull forward. Oh boy.
It's going to be the dot play, right?
Yeah, yeah, like the Cauldron Classic, right?
This is interesting. 3 villages may seem like a bit of overkill. Actually, this might be more than just the dock play. I'll probably begin with that. I imagine we're going to be getting proxy racks afterwards. He even poshes it on the left side of the lake to guarantee the Ibids can't get in. A smart read, because Puppypaw could have tried to come for a dock here. If you bring only one villager, he could be rushing it up because the Ibids do get cheaper docks. They only pay 75 wood. So it seems like a bit of overkill from Vortex, when in reality, it actually makes a lot of sense here. Looks like House of Wisdom quickly going up from Puppypaw on the front. I'm just checking the spawns and the way this has come out. His Berryan Gold is on the forward. This is, I'd say, an unfortunate spawn for Puppypaw, because Abbasids, like, if their stone was on the forward, it'd be more dangerous, right? Because Abbasids tend to play multi-TC. Iabids are less about TC booming, so it's more about your food and gold. And unfortunately, this spawn for Puppypaw, and it feels like it's been a pattern at multiple points in the series, is not a good one. With resources like that on the front, the English can spam lombos and block you out early. We are keeping an eye on the sheep, folks, because we've been there before. We know how this is. Cool thing as well, by the way, is because Vortex went for the dock, it means that he can go for that wider scouting pattern than what Puppypaw should be able to, because he doesn't need the food back at home. Unfortunately, this is a matchup where Puppypaw can do the same, because if you play Deli, Iabids, or mark my words on this one, folks, obviously Abbasis, but the one that I think people are going to also plan to bury at the start of the game soon is Japanese. If you play any of those civs, you can go for a very wide arc of your scout, and you don't have to come back quickly.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think like those scouting patterns are so critical to how the game plays out, and I think having civs that can, like you just said, having civs that can do a longer loop and do that wider pattern that we see on some maps is so important.
It's cool
And I think,
diversity, right? Like in the early game especially. It's kind of crazy how much it changes things.
yeah, it really. I mean, we saw literally a game get decided by that, right? So
Yeah.
there's no doubt in my mind that it's going to be relevant for the time being and in the future. So we'll see how that plans out long term. I think it's still kind of like early days for that level of thinking. Like I pick a civ just so my early scouting pattern can be slightly more efficient. Like I think there are more reasons to pick a civ than just that, and I think those other reasons oftentimes outweigh that decision. But
That's
we'll see.
true.
I mean,
I
who
think
knows? Maybe if it's important enough, right?
Well, I think it hits for some civs already, right? Because like Abbasis and Deli, we've seen those civs for 2 years. So like I think it is a layer to the cake now. But you're right, with new civs, there's still new builds to be figured out. I still think, like, by the way, Japanese is going to be the crazy one for it. Like, give a little bit of time, because the gathering round berries with the wheelbarrow, right? We haven't seen much of it, but let me just say, like, on the leaderboards, I've been seeing some interesting things right now. Obviously, we're not getting more Japanese this series, so we won't get to see it. Looks like we are going to be getting more ETC play out of the Ibids, though. I said it's not a popular one necessarily compared to Abbasids, but I guess in this game, Puppypaw realizes he's going to be up against fishing. He's going to need something to look forward to, right? And you don't really want to just be fighting military versus military when your option gets directly countered by the premium option of the English, those lombos.
Yeah, Master Smiths is just such an interesting option, giving you the early the early protection against the longbows, maybe. So could see some horsemen play here, or just pure archer with the tempo of the upgrades can be nice as well. Does have plenty of sheep to work with, so horseman could be a play, but we'll have to just see what building he goes for. It's going to be either one of those, right? You don't think he could be planning an FC behind this, right?
He better be.
So, he is.
So I'm gonna be quite blunt about this. I think that the tech up choice he chose is probably bottom 2 of all the options for the Ibids.
Interesting.
The reason he does it in this game is super situational. It's because of what we talked about with the alternative being Desert Raiders. You don't want to be building Desert Raiders against English at any phase of the game, right? So I think if this was any other civ, any other matchup, he probably just like saves that option as an ace up his sleeve. This game at least makes a lot of sense because like the crazy part is, I'm trying to remember what the cost is of level 1 techs. Level 1 techs is it 150 each? It's about 150, right?
For eco techs?
So for blacksmith techs.
They're
125, 125, right? So
no, they're 50,
you're spending
125. They're 175. They're 50.
175. So one like so.
Right? You're right. I think so.
Yes. So sorry, I kind of caught you off guard. So it's 125. Okay, 125, 175. Like either way. So
yeah.
The interesting 50 resource one, 125 the other. The interesting thing is like Master Smiths, if it will ever make sense, this is the one phase in the game it makes sense because if you think about what you're getting in return for what you're spending, this is like the phase that makes sense. I've seen people use Master Smiths for Imperial Age choice. You save 2,000 resources by spending 3,600 resources. It doesn't make sense. Here, you're saving yourself 750 resources by spending 600. So this is the one point in the game where it can make sense situationally.
Do you need a blacksmith?
Right. Yes. Yeah. In fairness, yes. Extra 150. But that's the logic. Like in Castle Imp, it doesn't make sense, right? Because if you're in Castle Imp, you usually have a blacksmith by then. So yeah. I think this might be the one point in the game where it's justifiable and a good matchup as well because it is one of those.
The Vil maybe going to get sniped, but the horseman's running through the paling.
Wait, the paling?
And gets stunned by the paling. That's
not just one.
Annoying.
He gets 2.
Wow. And then there's like, oh, you have your fancy schmancy pierce armor, ranged armor early. Well, guess what? Take a stick. Somewhere special. In your eye. Yeah, right there. Oh, the replacement comes in. He could have maybe sniped the Vil. Doesn't quite. Oh, he does kill the Vil.
He gets it. No. But here's the annoying thing. This longbow positions right on stand ground. It should still be able to harass these villagers. Unfortunately, he's getting a bit too close, so has to back away. I think this is one tricky thing with what Vortex is doing on Himeyama because it's elevated terrain. The range is deceptive, right? Like you don't get extra range from being on that hill with the outpost, but it looks like you should be out of range with those longbows. Find out the hard way you're not.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, you just get the little bit better vision.
Wait, hold on a sec. Puppy.
Huh? He has to get the blacksmith to... What do you mean? He has to get the blacksmith to get the free tax.
Wait, you need a blacksmith as well? Jesus. Oh, Christ. It's even worse than I thought. Now admittedly, I've seen Imperial, and I don't... Like I said, I stand by I don't like Imperial. The fuck... I feel like that could be buffed to not require a blacksmith, right?
Maybe, yeah. It depends on what the metric is. It depends on what the metric is, right? Are the other wings still too strong, or is this wing too weak, right?
This wing is
on what direction you need to go. I think it's probably that, but we'll see.
Like maybe you can prove us wrong. I think like Puppypaw once again has the right idea. If there's one point in the game where Master Smiths can make sense, it's feudal. However, you were up against one of the best feudal civs in the game for aggression. Yeah. Vortix coming in with the ram play. Puppypaw leaving his base.
And he still has fish behind this, so it's like his economy is still like pretty accelerated. Like Vortex has to be just so comfortable with this position. Like he has probably played this a million times. It doesn't matter what your civ is. He's just like, oh, I just need to make units, hit the ram, tower correctly, use the longbows correctly to kill Vils. Like nothing about a Ubids here is special for this moment in terms of like what Vortex needs to think about, right? This is all like game theory that he's played hundreds, if not thousands of times, right?
It's pretty much like when you're playing it this way, it almost feels like you're playing against the weaker Abbasids, right? Because standard Abbasid play would have had a few military units out immediately, or they'd have a second TC behind this is scary. there's no second TC, right? That stone was simply for the Arislets, and it just doesn't work out. More villages going down. Vortix now with a 7 eco lead, and Puppypaw playing a dangerous game. Remember, he's got about 5 or 6 villages to the south side of the goal. Tech up does complete. If this plan is going to work, it has to be right now.
For what? He has 182 gold. He mined a bit of gold in the south, and he's running those vills even further away without wheelbarrows. So this is a walk of shame right here.
And they can't get ball. Don't forget that. There's two balls to the south on this map, which is kind of crazy. I've not seen that in Himayama.
He still has
Yeah,
sheep. He needs gold to make units or get upgrades or accomplish anything.
Really hitting into him in this one, aren't you, Winston?
I mean, what do you mean?
He's just like a dead corpse on the ground. You're just poking him with a stick saying, do something.
Get gold, man. Do something.
Get houses, man.
Oh my god, he's housed.
He used the wood to build a mining camp, I think. Oh,
I mean, it's just a tragic moment.
So he doesn't even have a mining camp. Oh my god. Vortex is such a bully. And the Ram is going for another house. He can't access wood. This is such a great read by Vortex, from the play on the fishing to the longbow follow-up. One of the weaknesses of Himayama, it's like the old King of the Hill. You don't have wood access easily. And that's why longbows are the MVP right now. Puppypaw with a single Golem to fight with.
It's
Once
so crazy.
again, housed.
It's so crazy that he's focusing the houses. It's so smart, realizing, hey, there's not a lot of houses here. He's not even on wood. He's chopping stragglers to build a house with 6 vills. It's not where you want to be. And the Ram loops around looking for another victim.
Is there any houses down here?
Yo, you got any houses up here? I'm looking for some real estate.
Also, keep in mind, by the way, like, he doesn't have a marketplace, so right, he's got gold to the south, but he can't sell that for wood. So if another house goes down,
2 vills just went down. 7 vill picks in 10 minutes. He's up 10 eco.
Horsemen,
Ooh.
they're going to try to get some revenge.
This could be good. Let's see how sharp is Vortex right now.
He's Master Smith's level of damage coming into him here. What a broken tech.
Ooh.
Gets one.
For a horseman. I think a horseman died.
TC.
Maybe.
English TC,
Oh,
folks.
not quite,
Oh
not
my
quite.
god.
He's got
Are you-
half a leg.
He's like, are you okay? He's like, no, it's fine. It's just a flesh wound. Bro, you literally are missing all your limbs. No, it's fine. That's just fine.
I'm okay. What about you guys?
I can do this all day.
Worry about yourself, man.
Dude, Vortex has been taking all these fights, by the way, without level 1 range damage. It's only getting it now.
Yeah,
Lances.
this is...
Wait, is Lancers the answer here, though? Like, I kind of like the idea of trying Golem to defend this, but there's a lot of spears still from Vortex.
He's got 5 Gulam, 2 Raiders, or 2 Lancers, sorry, and 2 Horsemen. Maybe this is enough? It doesn't feel
Lancers
like
go in. They're not attacking. Oh, this is not the way you want to use them. They really need that charge, the extra damage. Lombo's just going after villages.
More vills. Oh, man.
He's just ignoring the Golems. They are just trivial to him. Steeled Arrow is coming through in about 10 seconds. Ram has ran out of houses to attack, so it'll just attack mills. But more Lombos on the way, and this is getting a bit
Oh,
dicey.
the vills want gold. He says, no, no, no.
Spears!
Oh, man.
The micro of Vortex, right? You know, when we looked at the stats, we were like, why has Vortex got like 2 or 3 more micro than Puppypaw? He's trying to show us right now. Lombos did just get their upgrade.
He's like, I heard you were talking shit.
He's
like, I will show you what is up. Yeah,
this fight is so silly. It's Lombos being chased by camels, being chased by spears, being chased by Golems. Where's the Benny Hills theme too?
Yeah, Benny Hill. Oh, I won't do that. I will spare everybody watching this from that too long. Oh man, the longbows though, gonna go down eventually. It's a lot of armored units, so not enough damage here. Would it be so funny if a demo popped out right now? Just killed his army.
Wait, where is the rest of Vortex's army? Has he rallied them somewhere else? He's missing like half of his forces here.
I think he recognized that this army was going to get cleaned up by this eventually, and he just microed to buy time, and I think he's just been rallying at home.
Is he trying to go Castle Age now? It kind of feels like it, right? Yeah, that many people on gold, double farm cluster, fishing's running out soon. So Vortex, realizing someone has to give, he did start to queue a demo ship for a second there. That play would have made sense about a minute ago. Too late now. By the way, that's one of the weirdest spawns I've seen of Himayama, with the shallow water on the north side.
It is
I don't think
odd.
I've seen that before. Well, then again, this is also a map where both the boars spawned in the south side.
Mhm.
There's a lot of weird things about this generation that I've never
Oh,
seen before.
raid on the wood and the gold again. This is lethal too. Enough to one-shot.
The numbness in your voice, the
Oh.
pain, because you've watched too many Abbasid
Just
villages.
not
It
enough.
looks like-
Dude, the ranged
just
armor
outrage.
2. Ranged armor 2 came in as the raid came in, and it changed. I was like, that's enough to one-shot him. Why aren't they dying?
Meanwhile, TC has to be garrisoned. Vortex is rushing up outposts anywhere to hide the villages right now.
Hold on.
Camelance is diving in. Gulums as well. Vortex, he got to bully for a lot of this game, but Puppypaw has had enough of his shenanigans. There's just not enough
man.
garrison space here, and there's enough military to hunt everyone without room.
Oh my gosh, not enough room at the end for sure here. This is insanity. 25 idle villas from Vortex. The fishing is about to run out. The galley in the middle is going to try to keep these longbows alive. There's a demo on the way as well. The
They're so
Gulam's
tanky,
going to
though.
go down. Are they replaceable Gulams, though? That's the question.
I mean, are the Gulums going down is the better question. Demo comes out. It does kill a Camelancer, I think that was. Meanwhile, the galley is just casually dying. The Camelancer is tanking all this, and Vortex is realizing English just ain't it. What a
Whoa.
hold out of Puppypaw.
I gotta say, I really thought that Vortex had a stranglehold on that game. When
100%.
When Puppypaw didn't have enough wood to build a house, I was like, okay, like he has like 20 something bills. How can a couple camels? But what was really clutch was that gold in the south didn't go uncontested. And I think Vortex, because he saw that Puppy was trying to get on the gold in his base, I think he was like, oh, like I'm winning, right? If I just push him off that gold. So he's like, oh, this is another longbow raid. I'll kill another goldville and I'll be fine. But I think what ended up happening was that was a bit of a bait from Puppypaw, showing like, oh, you think I'm on gold. You think I have no gold. You think I have no gold. And then it's suddenly like, actually, no, I have 8 Gulams, 3 Camel Lancers, and the second ranged armor for this next fight. And it's just like, oh, like you can't kill me anymore. You're still feudal. Right.
Yep. It's
Interesting.
the
And
other
we
thing.
shit like Master Smiths, man.
Dude,
It
no.
won the game.
Okay, I'm standing
It
by
won
what
the
I
game.
said. Like, okay, I want to give a lot of credit to Puppypaw for finding probably the 1 in 100 games where Master Smiths worked.
Oh,
I-
okay, so
I-
we're backpedaling now. I see.
Yeah,
I
I'm doing
see.
the Kyle. Like, in fairness, I did, in the middle of that rant, say the one place it might work is feudal because it's cost efficient, right? Like, we've done the numbers. Like, if you do it in Imperial Age, you save 500 resources on each of the tech. So that's 2,000 savings to spend 3,600. In that phase in the game, because we noticed it was 175, right? Someone said. So that's 750. So you're actually getting a discount if you want all the techs. There's one place it works, it's there. And you know what? Credit to him, and I'm glad he done it because we get a game number 7. Puppypaw proves Master Smiths has a way, and he also proves that ever since that change where we have straggler trees now, it is a critical component of comebacks, because if he did not have those straggler trees for those
Would have been
trees
house.
into the
The
houses,
Ram would have won the game.
100%,
It'd be
dude.
so funny if there was some one of the producers was just like changing these numbers after every game. Like, actually, I think this should be a little higher, a little bit lower. Like do we have to make the defense for Puppy one higher now? Maybe.
I
Who
think
knows?
like it's fair that Puppypaw gets flack on his ratings here, considering that it's the appropriate nerf to him when he has an overall win rate against Vortex of that. So like it's balanced, guys. It's totally balanced. But this series is balanced down to the line. You did get a glimpse of that correctly before we hopped into these statistics. It's an Ottoman mirror. I cannot think of a better way to close out a series this close than with a mirror to decide who is the better player to make it through to the grand finals of EGC's final event of 2023.
Yeah, this is nuts. I mean, there was a point during that game where I was like, all right, Vortex secured it. He's through. That's nice. That's good. Good attempt from Puppy. And then bang, he swings that game, and it just shows you how quickly your view of something can change to what looks like, oh, it's a 4-2. And it just turns into a 3-3 like that. And now Vortex has to be sweating a bit. Puppypaw has had really good macro decisions in the mid game, and that's where Ottomans really kind of have that a really tough time. Not a tough time, but like there's a lot of choices to be made for Ottomans when you get Castle Age. How are you going to distribute your military schools? Where are you going to put your siege? How are you going to do all this and that, right? How are you going to manage your metas? On top of that, the macro decisions aren't as clear cut as other civs. It's more about like choosing, oh, do I need to add another TC this game or not? Like stuff like that. How do I do my Vizier points? There's a lot of decision making for Ottomans that isn't obvious, I would say. And Puppypaw has been playing some of these mid game moments very, very well. So as Vortex, you have to be looking at this and saying, okay, how do I need to approach this? What's my game plan? It's canals. Oftentimes
We might not even get to the mid game.
Yeah, on Canal, we often see the Dark Age Spearman stuff, and so I'm just guessing it's going to be a Spearfest in the middle. Micro, if we go by the ratings, Vortex has better micro. But do you bank your cash on that? Would you bet on this right now? Vortex wins the micro battle with spears in the meta?
Down to this, Winston. A final game, a 7th game between Vortex and Puppypaw, an Ottoman mirror on a water hybrid map. On one side, Vortex, one of the masters, the true grandmasters of water hybrid maps. On the other, Puppypaw, NA pride on the line, as well as a man who has a 6-win, 1-loss record over Vortex. You could not ask for a closer way to decide this semifinals. Let's go.
And it's going to come down to the details in these mirrors, right? Like, how far up is your barracks, right? Like, this little detail, this Spearman's going to be out earlier for one player, but the reinforcements are going to be that much closer for the other player. It's just like these tiny details, which may or may not matter later on. But we'll see how it goes. This has been a pleasure, KP. What a series so far.
Pleasure to share it with you, my friend. This is an insane one. This is only the first series. We still have another semi-final after this game. But it is going to come down to this, a map that sometimes ends in 10 minutes, featuring a player that sometimes will get a GG or give a GG in 10 minutes. We are talking about Vortex. And you said, he's a micro master. We'll have to see if he's able to do it here. It seems at the time being Puppypaw has been baited by the sheep. Vortex is moving out. I think he's actually dropped the dock, right? Yeah, it's already being built for him. Meanwhile, Puppypaw hasn't started his own yet. And the A-click, that has to be unintentional. No way did he mean to do that. 3 spearmen are chasing that scout. Oh no. I think that's the difference, right? That's now going to be dock going up, and then Vortex can try to catch up on the spears here. It looks like a nitpicky detail, but that's actually a huge detail. That's about 15 seconds of idle time for those spears.
Well, if he can catch up on that number of spearmen, this is kind of nuts, actually, right? Like, how's Vortex's build have this much more? I guess you're saying the 2 spearmen, it's a lot more food, right? And the dock going to be the better investment here, potentially long-term, but we'll see. There's an exposed villager, which is going to get idled here. The numbers are good for Puppy if he can bring them to the front, but like you said, there's 2 still rallying across the map, and Vortex, keep this in mind. His production building is really close to the dock. It's like a quarter of the distance, maybe a third of the distance, right?
Also, we need to check sheep. Like I can't believe the way this series began. We're gonna have to check it for the way it could end, because now if you're Puppypaw, do you ever stop pumping spears? Do you just have to keep pumping? Because if you now go dock, he could catch up, right? He's already got the dock down, so you could just see that, go fishing, he'll be ahead of you. So it looks like it's 14, what was that, 14 to about 8 or 10. So Vortex with more sheep again.
Yeah, as Puppypaw, something you can rely on potentially this game is that if you're always going to be a little bit ahead towards the first VP, maybe. If you can get the meta first, like you're 1 spearman up, right? So like maybe you get the meta quicker. And then or the
if you go imam here, right?
You go imam.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you see in the spirit, or sometimes you see the meta for the 2 melee armor, which can win the fight, or you see the imam for healing in a more like big in like a bigger fight. I don't know what the metric is for how you
micro
decide
though. Vortex, is Amir, is he getting the better side of this? He is right now. Puppypaw has to retreat away. Vortex shunts him out, and all of a sudden he now has the military mass, is leading the charge with healthy spears, so Puppypaw can't even snipe those low HP ones. And Puppypaw,
disaster.
He hasn't even built the dock yet.
Disaster.
Right? So like he actually has to keep pumping spears. I don't think he can stop now.
Well, interestingly enough, the dock is there for Vortex, but
it's double racks.
Use it, right? Like the dock hasn't trained a fishing boat yet.
True. But over time, this villager is kind of paying for it, right? With that superior food gathering rate, the 100 would cost of the dock is being shrunk.
I mean, a long time, right? Like you also had to walk the Ville there, which lost you 100 res maybe on sheep, right?
So surely that says even more the fact that Vortex is somehow winning these engagements, right?
Well,
like to be behind like that.
The first fishing boat is going to make this all worth it, right? Right, KP. Like that's going to be what I feel like really sets this apart.
One fishing boat is going to fix this game. Maybe. Because I don't. Well, here's the thing. Puppypaw is not going to go fishing. He actually, maybe you try to sneak feudal here. That might be the one way, because I think if you try to go for a dock play now, it's so delayed.
And here comes that first fishing boat from Vortex. He's got the wood. It's got to get keyed up now, right?
Surely.
Hello?
I think he's waiting in case he needs more spears. And he will be needing more, because Puppypaw is about to go up to 13 spears with double racks play. He's trying to catch him with an overwhelm, and there it is. It's going to be the Imam points, and now this is a tricky predicament. Vortex, he's greedy. Instead, he goes for the feudal age. But I like this.
Oh, so the dock is like a bait.
Yeah. And look at what Puppypaw went for. This is the worst way for this to play out. He went Imam point, and now Vortex can transition archers, and you can't use that first point in the fights at all.
Oh my god. How big... is this a Galaxy Brain moment or a Pepega moment? We still have to decide if this is good or bad. He's going to trade away some HP with the Imams coming from behind so he can, fight this. Oh,
Villager's just waiting for the army. He's like, should we get out of here, boys? We've done our duties. Twin Minaret Madrasa being rushed up of 8. Almost done.
And it's going to be so much access to food. And, yeah, Vortex is like, okay, the dock baited you into having a lot more spears. Could he have predicted the second racks here? I'm not sure. Maybe
I'm not sure about that. I think if he knew the second racks was coming, he probably wouldn't have hung around as long, right? But think about the knock-on details here. It could be archers. Also, if he gets the upgrade on the spears, they can still start to fight. He also now has the ability to get an archer ship out, which has been queued up. And the fact that Puppypaw chased him all the way home means he now can't stop the dock. Yeah,
this is starting to become a bit of a tragedy here for Puppypaw. I don't see what his win condition is anymore. Where are the imams for Puppy?
They're still running.
So long to get here.
They've been running this entire time.
Nobody got it so long ago. They must have been idled.
I think so. And on top of that, right? Now you're playing up against hardened spearmen. You've also got the archer ship over here, which means you can't burn away the dock, so Vortex can go fishing if he wants. He can even just go upriver and start harassing your gold, because another detail for Puppypaw, if he wants to get up to feudal, his gold at home is right next to the river. Flash coming out. Concave movement from Puppypaw, so it's going to force the retreat, but
the
you
imams
can't
in the back?
kill Vortex right now unless he gives away the imams.
That's going to be enough. Hardened is in, right?
Archery range is coming. TC range has been reached. Puppypaw, if he dives this, he's going to lose momentum. He really needs to get rid of that Rax. The AoE heal does so much work in these environments.
It's a lot of green pluses. But the imams are left behind!
Oh my god, this is so uncomfortable. And here's the problem. Puppypaw needs to get rid of this Rax, but every time he turns the torch, he gives an opportunity for Vortex to snipe him out. Archers are being built behind this, by the way, so Puppypaw, he's not going up. Look at his resources. Look at his age. This is Dark Age Eternal.
Yeah.
Oh my. You have to give up on this now, right? Puppypaw, I think we saw him over the gold.
Archers, yeah.
He's saving up now. So this is where you just have to kind of cut and run. Get what you can and get out. Because now, even in the retreat, these archers could just hunt down the imams is the problem.
Well, as long as there's one or two archers, that's not going to be enough, right? It's if one of the imams dies, then damage becomes permanent on the imams. And then it's really problematic with just even a few archers.
Keep in mind, if that many spears just get a charge, and there you go, Vortex, it's unfortunate. If he'd made this move, the archer ship straight away, Puppypaw would have been stuck here forever.
The imams are dead.
Yeah, imams are gone. But in defense, wait for it. No, if the archers keep targeting them here, they're dead. Has he? I don't think he's clicked on them though. He keeps losing vision around the trees. Now, while they run back here, it is going to cost Puppypaw 1 of the imams, if not 2. That's a big edge now for Vortex. Tech up is underway from Puppypaw. But now, you just have to keep running. And it means that when you complete that tech up, Vortex is going to have a little bit of return harassment into your base.
Yeah, and this entire time, the Twin Minaret Madrasa for Vortex has paid off so much.
Oh yeah.
That's so much more resource he has.
He's also got fishing now, right? I think he's added in 3 fishing boats, if not 4.
think it's 4 already. Are there any?
I can
I
see
see
pips.
1 maybe. Oh,
Okay,
2.
2. There we go. He's up to 2 already. So
Third one's
looking
coming
really
in.
good. He can spam that up now. Second Imam is definitely going to die here. There's no
Vortex
way he
recruited a
gets
wolf.
out.
Yeah, this Imam's
Anything at this point to help. Oh, just get the snipe though. So that is both Imams dead for Puppypaw. This is a big edge. It seems like a dramatic overstatement for 2 units, but in an Ottoman mirror, 1 Vizier point often is the difference, especially on Canal.
Canal gaming, baby. It's kind of what it's come down to, right? The meta seems very distinct on this map, where it's really about that
What
control.
incarnations am I looking at?
I think
Well,
it's
that's
just a
one way to try and recover
defensive
water.
dock. So
No, it's to build a navy to then break out, I think. So, like, he's eventually going to delete the wall, but might be hard. Especially with as many spears, because, like, they can actually just burn the archer ship. They can actually grab the archer ship because it's shallow
there's
water.
defensive arrows. The archer ship could go to the north, right?
I mean, you dive it and kill it, right? Like, with this many spears, you could. Looks like he's going to back away, though. So, Vortex, he's going castle. That's why.
That's crazy that he's able to go castle.
I mean, you said it yourself. The minaret redress has paid for itself. He's up to, like, what? I think that's 4 fishing boats now. And berries being gathered. Made that 5. Vortex. This boy is mean.
Mm-hmm. This is nuts. This is actually nuts, right? Oh, man.
I don't think I've seen an Ottoman game quite played this way. But if there was going to be a player to do it, we talked about it at the start of the series, right? The 2 people that you don't want to meet on water hybrid maps because they make you so uncomfortable. This is one of them.
Yeah, Vortex is just so comfortable on these hybrid maps, and his whole build order, like,
Oh my god.
it's crazy. You could look at like that Dark Age dock as a mistake, but I feel like 2 degree. I'm not sure how much that was calculated, how all that would happen. You know? Do you
Mate,
think that was like a hyper calculated play, like calculating it as a bait to have your
I
opponent
think it was a
over-invest
hybridized
in
choice.
spears, and then you actually age up behind it? Yeah, or is that just like pure? It's
That
just
was
how
a
it
branching
happened?
option, right? I think that was a branch. Like, you know, you have like versatility there. I think Vortex and Lucifron are 2 examples of players. Like, there's a few there as well. I think BC does this really well. Marino historically has. They're very good at adapting on the fly. And I think that's what Vortex done there. He makes a statement with this dock, and then he sees what your reaction is, and then he looks to counter it. It's just phenomenally well done. I mean, watching Vortex on water maps is so nuts. I can hear squirrels scratching at my door to see it. Like, this
That's
guy
nuts, dude.
is built different. It is nuts.
That's nuts.
And this, I don't think Puppypaw is going to be expecting. He's saving up for his own castle, so maybe like when he sees no more harassment.
Does he call it?
I don't think it's GG
I
yet.
don't think you can. I don't think you can with this like situation, like with Game 7, right? Like the stakes of it all, right? You can't call it, even though it might feel like it. You're up a Vil, honestly. So like maybe it feels okay. You have age up coming in soon. You know that the Ottoman age up isn't the fastest to punish, right? He needs time for the mill schools to switch.
Yeah, to that point as well.
Yeah.
We're playing Canal. Like, remember, the bases are usually a bit wonky for military schools, so we should probably check the base layouts, because Canal can be a bit wild with the spawns sometimes, where you have to spend a lot more on blacksmiths. But it looks like Vortex optimized well for it. By the time he clears those berries, he'll be dropping new military schools. Puppypaw's a bit wider, but just enough room to wiggle with here.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, the Vortex's base is super secure for now. It's got everything in that little compact package, and I think that is gonna make it harder for this raid to do anything with the spears kind of looping around the north. I mean, there could be a Vil pick on the gold, but probably unlikely, right?
Yeah, it seems unlikely. The thing that is scaring me right now, and this can show you just how big the difference is, being like a minute and a half ahead on the tech up. Well, scares him away. That's not the big difference I was looking for. The big difference is by the time Puppypaw reaches into Castle Age, Vortex is probably going to have 7 knights already. Villagers still being harassed. Another wall low. Says, get off my lawn. Probably better just to bank it, mate. This could be... I think this is a 4 relic game, actually, for Vortex, if not more, because I think Puppypaw is going to have to use all those spears to now defend.
He lost his imams, so it's like way harder for him to catch up on the relics.
Well, also, he just doesn't have anything to guard the map with right now. Like, that Spearman raid, that's kind of all he's got right now. He ain't pulling his punches. It's just... There's that little behind them.
He's just
Nice,
gonna
now charging
run
in.
through the naval defense. with the dock is dead.
Villagers going to start dying here. There's just not enough room. So the Seek Shelter, not working for him. 2 villagers going down. Knights are going to wrap now onto the berries. And that is way too many villagers to protect in this area. So should be able to kill off 2 or 3 if he hangs around. Which at this point, you might as well. Instead, though, Vortix decides, I'm just going to run circles around the Navy and get hit again.
Did you see how that dock died? How did his dock die?
Wait, what? Maybe the spears earlier, right? I think it was the spears.
You think he got torched? Did I just like see it and not register it in my brain?
I think we didn't register it because it never expanded into proper fishing control, right? Like if you look, he never built it into more than just 2 boats. I don't think he ever could because Vortix already had such an edge on water. Like when he did try to contest Vortix in the mid, what ended up happening is there was an archer and archer fight and a fishing boat came. That's something Puppypaw doesn't have, right? He doesn't have that repair crew to try and win out on water. I think not engaging on water, it's going to sound weird because most people say that, like, you know, you can't ignore water. If Puppypaw had tried to invest Harvester on water here, I think he would have lost the game quicker. So this at least gives him a recovery arc, potentially.
Well, Vortex doesn't have any mill schools, right? Except for the Mebid.
He's got, yeah, none still, which is... Like, at this point, I'm a bit surprised, right? I thought maybe clear the berries, open the way, but he's playing off of raw economy, which, in fairness, with fishing, you can somewhat justify.
Yeah, but that does make the Vil count kind of deceiving, right? Like, there's
True.
3 military schools for Puppypaw and influence. It's not nothing.
No. It's
not
quite
nothing,
something.
brother. Sorry, that was
What?
weird.
It's okay. You just sit in the corner.
We're getting to that stage of the series. We're
This is
almost
only
4
series
hours
1.
into this series. Yeah, I'm getting a little loopy.
Well, what's kind of loopy here is actually, like, one player has a lot more value from this Mango play, I feel, because Puppypaw's building Janissaries, right?
Yeah,
and Vortix is already, like, half a Mango ahead, so that's an edge if he times it right.
Yeah, but if he loses his army out on the middle of the map for no reason, that's rough. That
Oh
move out was
my
too
god, Puppypaw, he can't
That's
turn
so
around
many
for it.
knights, and the knights are going to survive. The arrow ship
Dude,
isn't going to be
they might even
enough.
get the meta. Oh, meta pulls back. Archer's moving in. I mean, Puppypaw just doesn't want to fight this, which means the counter unit does not counter. And this dive, I mean, he can take out the archer ships, he can take out everything. Mango's going to show, but Knights, I think they could just go for this here. They could force a good night moment. Spiral ship is at least assisting from the side. Looks like the Knights are A-clicking on the main army instead. Finally, they go for that Mango. So Puppypaw loses everything. Look at the military.
It was okay if he just camped the towers, but he moved out a bit early there, huh? And now the Mangonel just going to slap away at his defensive hulks. The Knights diving deep into the wood line. Feels like Puppy's whole game is on the line here. Only a few spearmen in defense, but the Archers picking away.
They're not even running anymore.
No.
They're not even running anymore. Knights will just have a field day here. This is crazy. Vortix, I still think he doesn't have a single military school. He shows you just how powerful a difference fishing can be here. Because this is passive production versus active production at its finest.
It'd be so funny if now Puppy turns the game around and wins again, and we're just like, huh?
And then we're like, nerf Ottomans. Great Bombard's too strong. I mean, it feels like we'd have to go that deep, right? Like, right now, look at the food income for Puppypaw. This is a desperation play. This is for food. If this gets seen
the Great
at
Migration.
The crazy part to me, by the way, is like, if you look, we still, like, Vortex hasn't moved out of his base. I think he's finally doing it to the south side, going out to the deer. So that's the one exhaustive element here. Because those knights are being paid for it in full, it's a lot of food, even with fishing. So he has to start moving out to pocket ecos himself as well.
Where is he going?
He's going? Wait, no, he hasn't got stone. He's got a lot of wood. He's going for the boar? Like,
these Ottomans.
what could he be building with 1,500 wood?
I think
Wait,
this
what?
is just gonna go out in tremendous fashion.
Is this gonna be like? Is he gonna try to? Oh my god, he's dropping. He's going for the rams.
Envision the meta gave it away. The meta gave it away.
What a way to get discovered in a deciding game. Puppypaw with an all-in ram play.
The meta is drumming aggressively. Get away from me. Get away from me. He's just drumming. He's like, how dare you come in here? Bonk, bonk, bonk.
Everyone saw this play. We saw it. The imam saw it. The meta saw it. The boar and the sheep saw it.
The sheep saw it. Everyone sees it. The sneak value on this, can we get another rating on the rating chart for the players? Can the sneak value go down a bit here for Puppy on this one?
Just a live decrease in the bar, because there's feeling like he's not going to be alive for much longer. Puppypaw, this all in play, gets scouted. The archers have already arrived. Army is shifting here.
No.
I don't see how this works.
I think Puppy doesn't as well. I think he's just having fun, reveling in the loss here. It's a bit sad for him. This is such a good run for him, right?
That's
so impressive. So impressive from Puppy, though, in this whole tournament. This is really good for him. He took out Louis
he
in a
won't
really
be
tough
feeling
series.
that way.
He
Not with this
almost won
game.
Vortex.
He almost beat
won.
him. Puppypaw. Let's be honest, right? It looks memey when he loses. If he'd won that, that would be an all-time great replay of Age of Empires 4. He knew he was up against the ropes on a water hybrid map with the early game going this bad. He swings for that knockout punch, unfortunately misses his target, and it means that Vortix will be your first player to qualify to the finals of the EGC Finals 2023.